Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks for tuning to it, and a fine Lawn Maintenance Tuesday to you and yours. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything, but hey, if you do, we got you covered. All 3 hours going to be posted upon the conclusion of the program, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. You can always email the show, jcs@979espnradio.com. Fighting to get caught up with those, but keep them coming. Always appreciated. On Twitter, it's @JCameronShow, WTSM app for your mobile devices. And you can watch us perform the show on YouTube. Go to ESPN Tallahassee on YouTube, and you'll tune in. Hope everybody is well. And, it's a hurry up and wait thing, right? But let's hold off on all the football stuff, because right off the bat, we got to go. Choo-choo! I haven't had to give one of those yet this year.
Stick 'em in your mouth and suck 'em.
Indeedy. Not some fluke job either. That's an ass beating.
Stick 'em in your mouth and suck 'em.
Just like, you don't look like you're as good as we are. Not at all.
Stick 'em in your mouth and suck 'em.
Yeah, at least not last night on their home court. That's nice. It's a big win for Florida State. All jabs aside, I'll just say this. Jabs aside, I'll say, listen, you win a game like that, and it gives you wiggle room. This is a non-conference schedule that's not very strong. And so we thought, look, Florida State's probably going to go somewhere in the neighborhood of 11-1 because you always have a slip-up. And let's just say it played out the way the rankings looked. You'd say, well, your road game against Florida is probably the one you're going to lose, given that they're a top 5 team and really next to Kentucky, the team to beat in the SEC. And you saw them, they had Duke on the ropes just last week, and you thought, wow, there's a lot of quickness there. They can really shoot the ball. They're leading the country in scoring. So it's going to be a tall task. I said yesterday that we both picked Florida to win last night's game, but I did say I thought that our length could possibly give them problems on the perimeter, and then who knows, maybe you're in the game. If you could keep this thing close into about the 6 or 7 minute mark left in the game, you could find a way to win it. What I didn't suspect is that Florida State would challenge Florida from a quickness standpoint, a physical standpoint, length. Really everything about what Florida State did spoke of taking the game to Florida. And Florida struggled to respond to that, agitated by our length, agitated by how active this team was. We rebounded the basketball, especially on the offensive boards, exceptionally well. And when you play with a lot of tempo and you get down the court, you can go through prolonged stretches where you don't score the ball, but you give yourself so many opportunities to rebound, get putbacks, lay-ins, those kinds of things on the scramble. And Florida State was able to do that. And again, sheer volume for much of that first half in terms of opportunity. And then they played great defense. That's the other thing, is that if you're going to go through a stretch like we went through last night in the first half where you cannot hit the broadside of a barn after getting off to a good start, then you're going to have to be able to defend. And Florida State was very active on the defensive end and really closed out on three-point shooters exceptionally well. For so long, Tom, what's frustrated us as Noles is that when you watch us play defense, and we've played defense around here for the vast majority of Leonard Hamilton's time once he got his players in to a pretty high level. A couple of hiccups here and there, but for the most part, they've played good defense, and he certainly demands it, right? Well, one of the problems we always seem to have is in the closeout, foul so many three-point shooters. And right now, we were able to adjust and alter shots from beyond the arc without fouling. You had the one last night. But for the most part, Florida State does right now an exceptional job of getting out on three-point shooters and not fouling.
Yeah, that closeout combined with the weakest flagrant call I've ever seen in my life.
Which was bizarre. Bizarre, by the way. I appreciated the commentators noting that this is absurd.
And then they didn't talk about the game the rest of the night. But that, put them on the line for 5 shots.
Because Florida was getting blown out, Tom. There was not a lot to talk about.
They didn't know what to do with it.
Well, what they didn't know what to do is to, this is what happens when teams get blown out. Florida just wasn't competitive. And when you got a team that's not competitive, it's tough. You got to start talking about grocery shopping and stuff.
Which is exactly what they were doing. But, Florida State came out and hit Florida in the mouth. I think that's the first important thing.
10-1.
10-1, hit a couple of threes early. Ooh, okay, a couple of threes. Good Lord. Florida missed open looks, too. I think we did a fair job of defending in the early moments of this game, but Florida missed a lot of open looks, and you could tell, man, it's if you live by that three and it's not going in for you, especially in your own home arena with the sight lines that you're very used to, well, it's like your identity is ripped away from you. And I think the key sequence in this game, though, was that Florida responded, and it was a terrible basketball game to watch in the middle of the first half. We get out to that big lead, but then there are whistles galore. Nobody's making anything on either end, and Florida claws back and actually takes the lead, and you go, oh, did you just waste this opportunity that you had to set the pace? And then Florida State, through turnovers and good defense, generates easy baskets. A quick 6-0 run, 8-2 run, whatever it is. Florida State pulls out back in front. And from there, we would set the pace. And from there, we put ourselves in a position to close out the first half with, again, good defense, generating easy looks. It's almost like that's the icebreaker for ourselves. There are times where we're going to go cold from the field. I worried that would be the overriding case last night. It's not like we shot over 40%. We didn't shoot that well. But we crashed the glass. We were detail sound. We hit our free throws at a great clip last night, which was really, really important. Look at it all. Offensive rebounds, second chance points, points in transition, a.k.a. fast break points, turnovers forced. I mean, we were good on that end. They were poor on that end. We forced a lot of turnovers. I think we had 8 steals last night. This was just by about the 10-minute mark in the second half, you realized, oh, they're not coming back from this. Yeah. Florida's not rising and rallying. There is not going to be a 4-for-5 stretch from 3 because we went to the zone in the second half, and they looked as confused as we have offensively against the zone in years past. It was a pleasure to watch.
Yeah, no, we were dominant. 17:30 left is 48-44, and you've kind of got that moment of truth in the basketball game. And again, one of the things that I'm most proud about with the team is that from 48-44, you end up C.J. Walker, obviously, and this is in Terrence Mann with a fast break.
Terrence went nuts.
It's 56-44, just like that. And, one of the things that happens when you're on the road against a really good team and they get their crowd into it and you're in a big game and you don't have a go-to guy per se. I know Mann last night sets a career high with 25 points. He was great. Continues to, especially from his twos, shoot the ball exceptionally well. But when that happens, when you get that run, because that's basketball, right? It's funny, you get off to a 10-1 lead, and everybody knows that it's always fun to do that. Last year we had the big lead against Louisville at home, and you just know, man, that's cool, and it's a fun way to start a game, and it invigorates people, and it certainly announces your presence, in this case with authority. But you also always know the other team, especially if they're talented like Florida is, or like last year Louisville is, that they're going to come back. Basketball games are long. You go through stretches, cold spells. You don't hit shots. You get a couple of tough calls against you. You can swing the momentum. Guy hits a couple of threes. Next thing you know, it's a close game again. And that's the frustrating element of basketball. It's also one of the things that always gives you hope when you're trailing, those kinds of things. So at 48-44, I'm thinking, well, here we go. Let's see what happens. But immediately Florida State answers. And, again, so active defensively. One of the things that I talked about at the start of the year that I liked about this team was the fact that they didn't have a star and that they would never feel a need to defer, that no player was going to ever feel like they had to give so-and-so a certain number of touches. And I talked about how I think Leonard Hamilton, likes teams like that. Sure, you're never going to not recruit a one-and-done, or you're going to not accept a commitment from a guy who's potentially a first-round draft pick. But when you don't have one, when you don't have a guy like that, and you've got waves of guys that you can throw at people that are active defensively, that understand their role, that play a certain part, right, and understand it. And early this year, compared to previous seasons, we have a very good understanding of our rotations, a very good understanding of the minutes so far. Now, obviously, we've had to work with some people who have been injured, and we still are. But Leonard, I think, has a real good feel for this team and has very early on. And he's kind of experimenting with certain of the young guys to get them minutes. But even their roles, I think, seem clearly defined. And so these guys don't look to defer. They step up. They play their role. Every now and then somebody gets hot, whether it's C.J. Walker. It's Terrence Mann is never a guy that you say is getting hot. He's a guy that drives the basket, does all the little things right in basketball, is opportunistic, gets putbacks, gets things like that, hits you some shots. You don't expect him to kill it from three or anything like that. But he's a guy that obviously can score in, 4 to 6 real quick and kind of ease the tension a little bit. I just feel like you've got a lot of guys that understand their roles and a lot of guys that won't panic and a lot of guys that understand that it's incumbent upon them to play really tenacious basketball on the defensive end and force the issue. And because, again, sheer volume and tempo, Florida State plays fast. They get the ball up the floor. They get, quote-unquote, at-bats. They didn't shoot the ball well. You alluded to it. They didn't shoot the ball well at all last night, really, 38% from the floor. They were just 7 of 23 from beyond the arc, so that's 30%.
More threes made than Florida and fewer attempts.
Yeah, I mean, no, what's cool is, and again, when you force the turnovers that Florida State did, and you look at the numbers off those turnovers, we were talking about that earlier, and you have 23 offensive rebounds, you can survive ice-cold shooting. The second chance points, 16 for Florida State. The final score is a 17-point differential, and you've got 16 second chance points. All these things add up to winning basketball. It sounds cliche. It sounds cheesy. But I think more than anything, one of the reasons people will fall in love with this team, and they're going to have games where they don't play well, and certainly last night wasn't one of those. I mean, they go on the road, they beat the 5th-ranked team in the country, and they're undefeated currently, and that's a good thing. But there'll probably be a couple of games where you go, ooh, that was a dog. That's going to happen. It's a long season. And when you're in a scoring drought, if you don't have a guy that you can turn to when you have to have a bucket, there are going to be games where maybe nobody does rise to the occasion and you go through too long a stretch and you lose the basketball game. But the point would be this. More often than not, because they play great team basketball and because guys are gaining confidence, Walker in particular, and he can carry you for stretches, which I would have never guessed. Well, and they hustle on defense. I feel like they're going to be a problem for teams. They're going to be a nuisance. If you don't match their intensity and you don't come to play with high energy, you lose to this Florida State team because they've got so many guys that will.
Yeah, Walker and Kofor have been a revelation so far.
Yeah, and you wonder if Kofor can somehow, that would be stunning if he continues to play at this level.
CJ, that is. Now, MJ hits a couple of big shots last night, too, when we needed it. Most everybody contributed something. If they played more than 10 minutes, they contributed something where you say, oh, well, in a big moment, we needed this defensive stand or we needed this rebound in order to, not allow Florida a second chance to cut this thing down to a possession, whatever it is.
That 20 of 24 from the line is a big damn deal.
That's
nice.
You wouldn't expect that from us.
Ham says all the time, though, and I think coaches view this in a way that baseball people view certain baseball statistics, where you always hear people say about hitting with runners in scoring position. They're like, well, this team just doesn't hit with runners in scoring position. They're like, well, it's kind of random. It's kind of random. He largely believes, I think, that free throw shooting on a given night is largely random. Now, obviously, you've got a bunch of bricklayers, and it's a little different. But he'll say all the time, well, I got guys that make free throws all day long in practice. It's a matter of getting your mind right in a game.
But I think that you could also argue, and he's the coach and I'm not, got you, but these things are contagious one way or the other.
Oh, when you start slow, you put pressure on yourself. We saw it last year.
You can feel it in a stadium for a baseball team, or you can feel it in an arena for a basketball team. It's like, how did the Cardinals one year hit 320 with runners in scoring position and 2 outs?
They're lucky.
But at some point, you feel infallible in those moments, and clearly you are. For 68% of the moments, you are very fallible. But there's an attacking mentality, and the great part is, if you want to look at it from a positive standpoint, we didn't shoot the ball well last night, and we cruise. Think about it like that. You're on the road against a top 5 team in the country. We'll see what Florida bears out to be the rest of the season.
They'll be a top 20 team, though. They got too many good shooters.
But it's a road environment on the heels of playing a tough game against Rutgers where you're like, 10 points feels about right, and I'll get you your 6-pack, and I'm glad to do so. It's time to be accountable. But you do that, and you don't execute well from a jump shooting standpoint, and you cruise?
Because
what is that?
You made Florida have a really difficult time getting good shots.
Isn't
Florida
that what gets you excited?
Oh, without question. And I don't think that's changing. Listen, they're not an elite. I don't think this Florida State team's elite. I'm not saying that, watch out, Florida State's a top 1 or 2 team in the ACC. But when the preseason chatter came out about basketball, and I reached out to the people over at Florida State, and, you talked to we had Hamilton on the air. We've talked – you could sense they liked that bunch. They liked this group. They liked this team. They liked what they were seeing from them. They liked togetherness. They liked that they were confident. They played hard. They bought in. And we knew just from some of the returners that you had talent. I mean, there was no doubt you'd seen the talent for some of these guys, man, and Walker and these guys and Forrest. You know there was some talent there. Rodas, when he's right, is a pretty talented player. None of them are elite, just talented, though. And there was enough balance there. And you thought, okay, well, if you get anything from the newcomers, you got some size, you got length, you've got some things that can bother people out on the perimeter. You'll play good defense, you'll play hard, and you can play fast. You got guys that can get the ball up the floor, and they're committed to it now too, Tom. They're committed. Leonard's wanted to do it forever and a day. He finally got an influx of skill to where he could do it. They're committed to it.
Yeah, a couple of things. I think there are some duds to come. You said it. We talked about it yesterday. I think there are. You can just kind of tell when there's an off night, it might get away from us a little bit.
But defense will keep you around.
It will. Well, if we continue to play and rotate like that, I mean, good Lord. You're going to need to get a little lucky, though, with a team like Florida to not shoot well. Because if they're hitting contested shots and they're good enough to do so, then it's a different game. But it wasn't.
Yeah.
I guess my whole point is that the most important thing was the result of the game last night. But the second most important thing, and I think it's closer than most others, look at that video of them in the locker room afterwards.
Oh, yeah. They love each other. They love it. That was a big deal to them.
Everybody loves to win, but not everybody can love to win together.
Or sacrifice enough to make it happen.
Right. They love to win for themselves. And sure, the team along the way as we win. But sometimes you can see it. There's a difference between a group that loves to win for one another. And I know that's the mushy stuff in sports.
But I think that's why not having a superstar. That's what happens there. Like when you have a guy that you defer to who is clearly the guy, even if he's a really likable guy, there's still a sense that, well, thank goodness 21 carried us tonight, as opposed to really feeling a part of that victory. Now, you are, and that's just the way team. I mean, I'm sure the Bulls were fine with Michael going off for 46 in a playoff game. They were okay with that. But when you have a group like this that has to understand their role, play alongside another non-superstar who better understand his role, and everything's about group, man, I got to believe that fosters that.
Yeah, go check out the FSU Hoops Twitter feed because they show the video of the guys celebrating in the locker room after, and I think it's Gates they get with the cooler.
Yeah.
It's just, it when you see it. That kind of, they like each other. Like, they genuinely like each other. They're going to be together.
I'm always jealous of it when I see it with any team, especially if it's, like, if we have to play a team like that, I always hate it. I always go, man, that's going to be a lot to overcome. They really give a damn about the guy next to him.
But that's the difference. And frankly, this year, we were picked, 8th in the conference preseason?
I thought we'd be better than that.
You did.
Yeah.
In order to make the tournament, this isn't a grand proclamation like last year where, in our first 6 games of conference play, we did what we did, which was incredible.
That was incredible. I don't think we do that this year.
No, this team hasn't done that by any stretch. But what it needed to do in order to make it back to the tournament was steal a game or two at minimum that you didn't think they were going to win.
This is the first one. This was the big out of conference game because it gives you wiggle room, and I started to say that, but I got so excited about so many other things. You can now look. It's not ideal. I prefer you not do this, and we'll see what Florida goes on to become, like you said. But I think they'll be a top 15 team. You can drop the Oklahoma State game. I'd prefer you not, but I was projecting 11-1 in the non-conference because it's so poor. I mean, you don't play many very good teams. You need to win these games, and then hope to be middling in the ACC is what we said, and that would probably get you in given the strength of the ACC. But I didn't expect to win over Florida, which now is a huge RPI boost when we're talking about these things later on in the season. You get this win now, and you have a hiccup somewhere. That's all right. It's offset by such a big road win, and that's a road win against
good wins, bad losses. Yeah. Isn't that what we see on Selection Sunday?
All the time. They're like, they did lose that Oklahoma State game, and not that they will, but I'm using it as an example. Well, they lost that Oklahoma State game. That's an ugly loss there, given the year Oklahoma State said, yeah, but they did go on the road and beat Florida. I mean,
they beat the tar out of them.
Yeah, beat Florida soundly.
Well, that's 4 years in a row they'd done that?
Well, it certainly didn't go unnoticed that there are some men on that team who had fine careers at the University of Florida, even if they never involved a victory over Florida State. But that's okay. They can certainly go hug it out with their brethren on the football team who've also never beaten Florida State. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, only Mahindra, the makers of the toughest utility vehicles on earth, can give you the best year-end deal on earth. So let us show you how to get tax savings on your new Mahindra XTV and get cash back and savings up to $2,500 on select clearance models. Plus, get a free roof and Mahindra's 3-year warranty.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men on a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
South Georgia's authorized Mahindra dealer is TNT Super Center, US 19 South in Thomasville, and at TNTSuperCenter.com.
Offer with approved credit. See dealer for details. Program restrictions may apply.
Don't just listen to The Jeff Cameron Show. Watch it live. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Live weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. Head to ESPNTallahassee.com today to watch live or catch up on demand. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Brought to you by Nice Tire and Auto, your trusted Goodyear dealer. 574-4100. And presented by TNT Super Center in Thomasville, Georgia. And Franklin Spring Creek Ford.
At Amazon, we've got millions of toys and games to choose from this holiday. For kids of all ages, from the classics to new ideas to the must-have hits. So, whether you're buying for creative kids, competitive kids, or, well, grown-up kids, visit Amazon for all the toys and games you need and give a little love this holiday. And get free shipping on over 100 million items with eligible orders over $25, only at Amazon.
Give a little bit of my love to you.
You can always count on the crisp, refreshing taste of Bud Light, just like you can always count on Tailgate Terry. Without Tailgate Terry, you wouldn't have cold Bud Lights and 7-layer dip at every pregame. That's 56 layers per season. Just the right amount if you ask Terry. Just don't ask him while he's inflating the 8-foot mascot he blows up for tailgating. Tailgate Terry is famous among friends. He deserves a Bud Light. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB St. Louis, Missouri.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool. You can put him to the test.
You can always count on the Knolls to deliver. But what about your home comfort system? If your system is older or giving you problems, call the professionals at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning to check it out. Make the right call this season and turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Go Knolls. License number CAC 057652.
Right now, the Home Depot has the Husky 230-piece mechanics tool set for just $99. It's the perfect starter set for any up-and-coming do-it-yourselfer. And right now, it's at the perfect price. And since Husky mechanics tools are guaranteed forever, this starter set will be around to finish projects for years to come. Start something great with the Husky 230-piece mechanics tool set, just $99. Now at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Valid through February 3rd, 2018, U.S. only while supplies last.
You're locked in with The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. We, like you, are awaiting somewhat impatiently for the announcement that Willie Taggart, as Florida State's next head coach, is made official. It would appear that it is all over but the shouting. We're just waiting on the official nature of that announcement. Everything behind the scenes certainly points to the fact that he will be. Now, for those of you that missed it, and I sometimes forget that not everybody's as immersed in this on a daily and nightly basis like we are, a little bit different for us in that we don't run a website that is committed to recruiting or a team, for example. So like War Chant or 247 or Tomahawk or whatever. It's, at 1 o'clock in the morning, if we find out Willie Taggart is committing to Florida State as the next head coach, we can't come on the air. Well, we could, but I'm not going to. It's not that big of news. So, last night, while many were burning the midnight oil trying to get info that may or may not allow them to have something to post on their website to get clicks, I was sound asleep in my mind, drifting off to a celebratory moment after having watched Florida State knock off Florida. But I did, as I went to bed, certainly I was aware, I should say, of the trip to Arizona, which was made yesterday by Willie Taggart. He went there partly to recruit, originally, the story reads, but was also being recruited, if you will. And he went with his co-offensive coordinator, Marcus Arroyo, and they flew to Phoenix, or the Phoenix area, on an Oregon donor's plane, and met with a 4-star quarterback who was a commit to Oregon, but also, of course, with Florida State officials, said to be that of obviously Stan Wilcox and I guess Thrasher and other representation. But he was set to return to Eugene, was Willie Taggart, to meet with Oregon officials working late, but it doesn't appear that he did get back there late last night, and it wasn't until this morning. But that's a little unclear right now. And again, I'm not stalking him. I know he was at according to an Oregon outlet, he was at a Starbucks early this morning.
Willie Watch 2017.
That was bizarre. He was at a Starbucks in his Range Rover. He also dropped off his kid, and all of it got very uncomfortable for people following Willie Taggart.
Watch out for Willie. If you spot Willie,
you got to let us
dial
know.
this number.
All right, so the bottom line is this. It was said that meeting with Florida State officials went well. I am told it was all but agreed upon that he would be the next head coach. And a lot of us expected, I think, Willie to be here today. I suppose it could still happen. But when you find out that he wanted to, and by the way, this is the right thing to do, and I certainly don't begrudge him this, but if it's an accurate report that Willie wanted to meet with his team, initially we thought he would meet with his team this morning and let them know the news that he was moving on, that he was, in fact, going to take the Florida State job. But we learned later that he, in fact, wants to meet with each of those players individually, which is also, you know what, admirable. It's the right thing, because I did think about this, Tom. You know, he had to convince, especially the young kids that committed a year ago. I mean, how many guys did he have to go into their living room and convince to go out to the Pacific Northwest from, say, southern states and commit to him in the Oregon program? It is one of the things about big-time college football that, it can be distressing, could be upsetting, especially for players. That's why they always tell players, remember, you're committing to a university, not a coach. I know that's easier said than done, because you get recruited by a guy and you talk to a guy and you develop a relationship with that, and then they just up and bolt. It's a distinct possibility. But the point would be, if he's in fact meeting with those players individually, as you would want to do in this situation, then it takes longer than just a group team meeting.
And I've seen now 2 reports coming down in just the past few minutes, one from Knowles 24/7, one from the Orlando Sentinel. That'd be Newberg and Safid. A team meeting has been called for Oregon, and the time is 1:30 p.m. Pacific, so that is
4
In an hour from now.
Yeah.
Yes, they will be meeting with head coach Willie Taggart. That according to those two outlets.
Yeah. So, listen, at the end of the day, you get people panicking. You get people wondering, well, wait a minute. You said this was a done deal, and why hasn't it happened yet? Again, the logistics of this, he's in Oregon after being in Arizona late last night. First of all, that's not a real quick flight. And then secondly, if he's going to meet with his team, meaning back to Tallahassee or to Tallahassee from Eugene. So if he's going to meet with his team and he's going to do this right and he's going to meet with these guys, either as a group or as individuals, then I guess it's just that you wouldn't expect this announcement to come down, not officially, or at least not the press conference until tomorrow now at this point. If it's going to be 4:30 here before he even meets with his team. Point is, Will, you're not allowed to say that you're coming to Florida State as the next head coach here until the Jeff Cameron Show is on the air, and you're certainly not allowed to go give a press conference. So tomorrow, Willie, if you'd like, you can break that news right here on the JCS at 3 o'clock. We'll have you on. It'll be great.
Well, we're waiting.
Everybody is, but hang in there. It's not like this process has been slow. I mean, Jimbo was just announced at Texas A&M on Monday, and you didn't find out that he wasn't going to coach the team in the game on Saturday until past Friday, right? So this has actually moved very quickly, being that today is only Tuesday.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is only the second full business day.
Yeah. Oh, it's been, this has been quick, and everybody knew this would be quick. You have an early signing period running from December 20th through the 22nd, and everybody is trying to ink the bulk of their class, if you will. Then, so I get it. That little period there of 72 hours, people are trying to wrap it up. And we're all waiting on pins and needles, as a lot of guys have backed out of this class and said, I don't know what the hell's going on in Tallahassee. You're eager to get some of them back on board. You're eager to find out what Willie's able to bring to the table in terms of commits that are currently committed to Oregon that then maybe would flip to Florida State, et cetera.
Funny question on Twitter from at Vernon Coleman. Is there any news that would get you into the studio at 1 in the morning?
Is there any news that would get me to the studio at 1 in the morning?
Would something rouse you from your sleep and you would call me and say, Tom, we must assemble at the studio now and we must break in?
Yeah. I can think of a couple of things. Some of them aren't pleasant, but yeah, I would say that there are moments that would require that. But boy, it would take a lot. I mean, it'd have to be something, quite frankly, it would have to be something either tragic that required our attention immediately. And let's knock on wood, we're not having to do that anytime soon. Or absolutely just of the stunning variety, something where, I don't even know what that could be. Like, I was thinking about a resignation or
Nick Saban's on the tarmac in Tallahassee.
Yeah, something. I mean, no, I don't even think that would get me here at 1 o'clock in the morning because I don't know what that would do. Nobody would be listening to that.
John Gruden is announced as athletic director.
No, we could wait till tomorrow to do that.
Okay.
I mean, that afternoon we could do it. What could be announced at 1 o'clock in the morning other than a tragedy? I really can't think of, and I really, knock on wood, man, I don't want to put that into the ether, man. I'm saying, what would be, so it would be funny because
Willie Taggart is on a flight back to Eugene, Oregon after completing a meeting in Arizona. Maybe we should break in and give people an update on that.
No, I'm saying, what would be the news that I called you and you'd be like, well, that seems reasonable. I think Jeff's right about this, hon. I'm going to jump in the car and meet him up at the station. It's time for us to get on the airwaves and do our due diligence here. I mean, what would it be? Other than a tragedy, which would be not something to entertain. It's sad. But
No, I was hoping we wouldn't go the serious route with this. But yes, that's the correct answer. It would be something not good.
No. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, only Mahindra, the world's #1 selling tractor, can give you the #1 year-end deal. Let us show you how to get tax savings on the toughest tractors on earth and get up to $7,400 in discounts along with Mahindra's 7-year warranty. Plus, get an Emax 22 with mid-mower for just $134 a month.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Besides us wants to hear that you need a new roof. It's one of the biggest home improvements you have to make, and Parker Brothers Roofing understands. We now offer financing for 0% over 60 months. Yes, that's 5 years. Call us today for 5 years interest-free financing on that new roof. 656-8112. That's 656-8112, or go to parkerbrothersroofing.net.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
License number CCC 049350.
At Whole Foods Market, we believe in real food. Food that's full of nutrients, naturally vivid and colorful, fresh and delicious. Food that connects you to your body, to the seasons, and to the natural world. We believe food should nourish you and help you think. It should help you feel calm, clear-headed, and strong. It should help you do more, sleep better, and wake up happier. That's food that lives up to its name. We believe in real food. Whole Foods Market.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
It's Golick and Wingo. I know we talked about Carson Wentz as your midseason MVP, and Tom Brady's name certainly goes there for what he's doing. But if Russell Wilson doesn't put on a cape every single week, they're in trouble. And they're just a bad O-line. But Russell Wilson's ability to escape Mike and find and do things on the run has been ridiculous.
Golick and Wingo, weekday mornings from 7 to 10 on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news. Major punishment for Russia for the 2018 Winter Olympics for running a state-sponsored doping system. The International Olympic Committee suspended the Russian Olympic Committee. The IOC says the Russians who compete in South Korea will do so as individuals under a neutral flag. Steelers receiver Juju Smith-Schuster and Bengals safety George Iloka each suspended one game for their actions in last night's game. Steelers linebacker Ryan Shazier continuing to undergo evaluations in a Cincinnati hospital on a back injury. The hope is that he can return to Pittsburgh today. Patriots tight end Rob Gronkowski's appeal hearing of his one-game suspension for that hit on Bills DB Tre'Davious White is being heard today. That hit over the line, believes ESPN's Louis Riddick.
I've watched guys hit players like that 100 times and it wasn't called back in the day. But you can't do it now, and you'll never hear me say, oh, don't throw the flag. I'll say, look, you're going to have to throw the flag. And players, if you can't adjust, you're going to get fined and get knocked out. Right. But what Gronk did is different. Let me just qualify by saying this. What he did is BS, and we know it.
That's our Louis Riddick on Golick and Wingo. White is in the concussion protocol.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Derwin James declaring for the NFL will not play in Florida State's bowl game. Good on you, young man. I wouldn't be playing in Shreveport either. I got it. I've said for years, these games, if you're not part of the BCS or not part of the modern-day playoff, I mean, they're exhibition games. Let's not kid ourselves. So many people like to write these stories about how, oh, they finished strong last year. That bowl win at the Outback Bowl really proof that they were turning the corner. Should be a banner year next season. That win has nothing to do with nothing ever. Nothing. Never. Yeah, that Orange Bowl victory really translated into all kinds of togetherness this year, didn't it? They couldn't wait to get into this season and kick ass and take names. It doesn't mean anything. There are seldom moments where I say, maybe I'll reconsider that. If you're a program that's never accomplished anything, and you've got a young coach and he's instilling a new philosophy and a new way of going about the process, and you're rewarded with a big-time bowl matchup against a traditional power that has recruited better, has more cachet, etc., and you upset them in some way, as proof that buying into that coach's philosophy and process is, I don't know, getting you to where you need to be and furthering the philosophy and belief system of the players. Maybe. Probably not, though. Probably not. Maybe. Fans want to believe that. But I will say it does a couple things here for Derwin James, just looking back on it. Go read his Players Tribune piece today. It's really good. It's really good. And if you didn't already like Derwin James, and you should, he's really never done anything for you to not like him, read that piece and tell me you don't come away impressed with that young man. It's well written, and the sentiment expressed is one that Knowles everywhere, I think, will embrace and feel good about when you read it. And it's classy. It's really well done. So good on you, Derwin. Again, that's the Players Tribune. I sound like Mike Greenberg here, always pointing to things on my Twitter line, but I did tweet it out. I think Tom tweeted it out. Just about everybody who's an old tweeted it out. So you can go and find it in any one of our links, and you'll be able to click on that story and read it. It's good.
Or, hell, you can go to Derwin James' Twitter account.
Right.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is. So, anyhow, the point is it's out there. But, it's a little bit complicated. We're at a place now, Tom, where the players have figured it out, that the money is such that the risk is too great. And because of that, I think it's important that, again, I want to get this out there. I wish it weren't this way, and in yesteryear, if you will, it wouldn't be. If you go back and look at it, this was something that players would have never missed, an opportunity to compete one more time with their team, all that stuff, all the rah-rah things that people like to get into and to talk about. Yeah, but I get why that day has come and gone. Players don't look at it that way anymore, and we've already seen specific examples of players who played in the bowl game and suffered devastating injury and cost them millions of dollars. So once that happens a couple of times, maybe even one time, it's not real hard for agents at that point to say, my man, you don't need to play in this game. There is no real reason to play in this game. Now, some guys are going to choose to do it. Some guys are going to say, I'm in, I want to play, I wouldn't miss it for the world. It's the last opportunity I have to don, in this case, the Garnet and Gold or whatever school it is that you're at, and I want to compete with my brothers. I got it, but I don't begrudge the guy that doesn't. When this first happened, I used to, but not anymore. I don't really do that anymore. Now I'm just sort of the mindset that, hey, man, there's just too much at stake for you to risk it all in an exhibition game, which is all this really is. Unless you're part of a playoff, unless you're part of, a national championship type contest, I can get it. So Derwin James not going to play. For that matter, Mark Walton declares for Miami as well, and he'll take it on to the pros. Should be noted, Mark Richt was named today as the Walter Camp 2017 Coach of the Year. And that's a big deal. That is a prestigious award. It is selected by the nation's 130 football bowl subdivision head coaches and the sports information directors. And you know, despite that devastating ending, they did win their first ever ACC Coastal Division title.
Which is an accomplishment. Now, they could have participated in the ACC championship years ago, but, you know, they would have been playing us as the story went.
So as we're talking now, you'll get a lot of official reports that Willie Taggart has accepted the position as head coach. This is, again, if you were listening to the Jeff Cameron Show a week ago, you knew this was going to happen. People will get very, very excited and ready to roll with this, I guess, now that it's official. But you already knew, because you listened to me, that this was going to happen. And that's a good thing. So now it just becomes official, and, you know, I think the next exciting thing that we can do is talk about it after he actually takes to the podium and addresses the media. Yeah, so there's the breaking news, I guess you could say. I don't think it's breaking. It's just what we knew was going to happen. And I think I said last week, again to toot my own horn, that nothing would happen before Tuesday. Or did I say that? Well, I think I didn't tweet that out. I may have said it on Friday, but I confirmed that on Saturday.
There are so many compositions of so many toots that I don't know which note to toot here. But
lots of note tooting here for getting it right a while back and celebrating that if you wanted just to relax and let it play out, that it was a foregone conclusion. It was always going to be Willie. I had a guy who wrote me a damn novel about how wrong I was, that it was going to be Charlie Strong and that the incompetence at Florida State was going to shine through and that it was always Charlie Strong and it was never Willie. I mean, my man, come on, baby. We have a long history of just getting a whole hell of a lot of things right. Just, it's like absurd even. But not here to prattle on about that. Let's instead take a step back and now, I guess, get into some of those reports, the details as they're forthcoming. I'm just most excited, in fact, for when we get the opportunity to speak with Willie Taggart and when he addresses the media. And that's the next big report, really, is when is he going to talk about being the next head coach at Florida State? That's exciting. That's it's a chance to begin to follow a vision and kind of get to know the man a little bit. And I think everybody's eager to do that. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, only Mahindra, the makers of the toughest utility vehicles on earth, can give you the best year-end deal on earth. So let us show you how to get tax savings on your new Mahindra XTV and get cash back and savings up to $2,500 on select clearance models. Plus, get a free roof and Mahindra's 3-year warranty.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Our own utilities.
Nice shot there, Dickie Lang. I'm sure you'll get out of the bunker this time. Here's Cameron from 160. Maybe a 9-iron. No, it's an 8-iron. Probably just hitting it 3/4.
It's the season for some Gordos. La 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 la.
Eddie? What in the world are you doing here? You don't even golf.
Be that as it may, Jeff, my holiday spirit knows no bounds. I come bearing gifts.
Outstanding. What do you have there, sir?
3 gifts. Gold, frankincense, and mahi fingers for all. Gold and frankincense not included.
Very thoughtful of you, Eddie. You don't have to do this, man.
That's what we do, man. This is the holiday season. This is the time when you show the people you love and the people that you care about just how much they mean to you.
You're absolutely right. I'm glad we get to share this with the community together.
Well, that's why I'm here, bud. Well, that, and I want to use that driver you got.
It's par 3, Eddie, not using the driver.
7!
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Once again, all of you with stellar credit ratings, congratulations. And this message is not for you. All year I've been talking about our New For You program to assist good people with dings in their credit. And just last week, a friend of mine came into my office worried about his own credit rating. But thanks to our New For You program, you guessed it, he drove away in a brand new Nissan Altima. We are proud of the fact that we have helped hundreds of people that were previously limited shopping little used car lots where they overpaid, got huge finance charges, and had very few choices on cars to purchase. Some of those lots may actually hurt your credit more than they could ever help. So remember, credit score under 600? Come on in. Recent bankruptcy? Come on in. Recently divorced? Come on in. Think you have a financial problem we've never heard of? Come on in to Kraft Nissan. And come see the one dealer in Tallahassee that can really help you out. Come see the cars that everyone wants at the hottest dealer in town, Kraft Nissan. And remember, if you don't see the Kraft tag on your car, you paid too much, way too much. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco, or visit us on the web at craftnissan.com.
Roof. Protect your home and your family. The Parker Brothers tell you the truth. We'll fix your roof, 'cause it's what we do. With quality, integrity, and pride. Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
Hey, I'm Travis with Parker Brothers Roofing. Some roofers are like a bad boyfriend. They make lots of promises, but in reality, they're just cheap. They don't own up to their mistakes, and they leave you with a lot of regret. Parker Brothers Roofing stands behind every installation, and if a mistake is made, we own it and fix it. Our customers never have to worry about being left behind for the next job. At Parker Brothers, it's quality that builds our quantity. Call us at 656-8112.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
License number CCC 049350.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Taggart will be Florida State's next football coach. And the thought is it's not going to be that we hear from Willie in an official capacity tonight, but rather tomorrow. Now, there are a lot of things, as this becomes a whirlwind, that they'd like to do. There is a thought that they would certainly love to have Willie Taggart at tomorrow night's basketball game. And so Florida State playing a home game tomorrow night. There is a chance that Willie Taggart will be at the basketball game tomorrow night. That's not official, and you can put all the plans in the world in place that you want. Understandably, a university wants to get their new guy out there in as many ways as possible. It is fairly traditional. If at this time of a year, well, Jimbo did it. You just saw that at Texas A&M. He went to the basketball game and had that very awkward moment with that crazed fan who wanted to sway. Let's try to avoid doing anything crazy like that, folks. Let's just clap for the man and welcome him in a classy, traditional style and not some goofy, obsessed way. That said, it could could happen, may not, depending on how quickly he can get here and kind of get organized.
Okay, so what you're saying is that might be his first university-sanctioned appearance?
No, he may have he may have a public
or maybe on the heels of a press conference.
Right. No, they're hoping to have him at the basketball game. They're not sure that can happen, by the way, because again, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. The man's in Oregon, so
and he hasn't had his team meeting yet. So that's awkward.
You're trying to get to the team meeting. You're trying to talk to the kids. You're trying to get whatever you need to get from your house, amongst other things, and get to Tallahassee, Florida, on a jet. So. We'll see. He has to. I do know this. The coach, you can line things up, and they do this in the athletics offices around the country. All athletic departments do this when they get a new guy on board. They line up a schedule, and they try to get everybody organized and on the same page. Hey, we want him to do this. We'd like him to do this. Maybe we could get him to the basketball game. There's booster parties, Tom, first and foremost. Big money boosters would like to meet with their new head coach. I know originally there was a booster party scheduled for tonight in Tallahassee, Florida. I don't know if that is going to happen or not, given that the man is in Oregon and it's 4:00 Eastern time. We'll see. But these are all things you try to line up and get everybody on board. But again, he has the right to veto that and say, listen, guys, I've got to do 15 other things. Tomorrow I can do this, this, and this, but I can't do these three things. Maybe I've got to I got to go see a recruit. Maybe I got to go talk to a coach who I want to become my defensive coordinator or my offensive line coach. Or what, you got a lot of things going on here. A lot of what fors and what have yous and I don't knows, and we'll see.
Ins and outs.
Willie Taggart's the next head coach at Florida State University. Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, only Mahindra, the world's #1 selling tractor, can give you the #1 year-end deal. Let us show you how to get tax savings on the toughest tractors on earth and get up to $7,400 in discounts along with Mahindra's 7-year warranty. Plus, get an Emax 22 with mid-mower for just $134 a month.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
45 minutes or less with no appointment necessary. Here's how it works. When you come to Kraft Nissan for an oil change, you're greeted by a dedicated express service advisor. Sign the advisor's iPad and have a seat in our waiting room. A team of 2 lube technicians will immediately take your car directly to service and complete the oil change. And remember, Kraft Nissan services all makes and models. And we sell tires for less. Compare us to the box stores and compare us to the tire stores. We'll beat their price. Plus, new tires come with free rotations for the life of the tires. We also have our Value Advantage line of parts that are priced to compete with aftermarket aftermarket and parts stores, but still have full Nissan factory warranty. So competitively priced that Kraft Nissan will give you a 30-day price match guarantee in writing. And we offer the Kraft Nissan service card, same as cash for 6 months on purchases over $299.
So give us a try. Oil changes in 45 minutes or less and no appointment necessary. Just stop by.
Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Service card with approved credit.
It's Golic and Wingo. The one thing that I think defines the Patriots' greatness more than anything is their ability to probably end up in the AFC Championship game no matter who gets injured besides Tom Brady. Chris Hogan, Julian Edelman, Dante Hightower. They have the ability to overcome massive injuries better than any team I think I have ever seen at any level in any sport.
Golic and Wingo, weekday mornings from 7 to 10 on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news. Major punishment for Russia for the 2018 Winter Olympics for running a state-sponsored doping system. The International Olympic Committee suspended the Russian Olympic Committee. The IOC says the Russians who compete in South Korea will do so as individuals under a neutral flag. Steelers receiver Juju Smith-Schuster and Bengals safety George Iloka each suspended one game for their actions in last night's game. Steelers linebacker Ryan Shazier continuing to undergo evaluations in a Cincinnati hospital on a back injury. The hope is that he can return to Pittsburgh today. Patriots tight end Rob Gronkowski's appeal hearing of his one-game suspension for that hit on Bills DB Tre'Davious White is being heard today. That hit over the line, believes ESPN's Louis Riddick.
I've watched guys hit players like that 100 times and it wasn't called back in the day. But you can't do it now, and you'll never hear me say, oh, don't throw the flag. I'll say, look, you're going to have to throw the flag. And players, if you can't adjust, you're going to get fined and get knocked out. Right. But what Gronk did is different. Let me just qualify by saying this. What he did is BS, and we know it.
That's our Louis Riddick on Golic and Wingo. White is in the concussion protocol.
Experience why for nearly a century men have trusted Barbasol for a close, comfortable shave. Whether it's extra moisturizing with vitamin E or soothing aloe, all you have to do is sit back and bask in the glory of your close shave. You're looking good, America. You're shaving with Barbasol.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Congratulations to Willie Taggart, the next head coach at Florida State University. There it is, the Noles. Well, we've got our guy, Willie Taggart, to address his team in Oregon one final time in 25 minutes. From there, I imagine it's on a plane to Tallahassee, Florida. We'll get the opportunity to talk to Willie Taggart sometime tomorrow. I imagine you'll have the official press conference. I know that already in the works is the idea that maybe they could get him to the basketball game. We'll have to wait and see how it all plays out. But 41-year-old Willie Taggart, previously at USF, previous to that as a head coach at Western Kentucky, is Florida State's next head coach. And what he brings with him is an awful lot of enthusiasm and recruiting prowess and quick turnaround ability, by the way. That's the thing that if you go back and you check, a lot of people will cite the record and say, well, gosh, that's not a very impressive record. Well, when you're taking over reclamation projects, it's going to take a couple years. But one thing you will find that he's done, going back to Western Kentucky, where when he took over a program in complete shambles that had lost 26 games in a row and was FCS. His first year, obviously they won a couple of games, and then quickly after that, they went 7-5. He ushered them from FCS to FBS, where they ended up becoming bowl eligible, set up that program to have success moving forward with Jeff Brom and even Bobby Petrino. So you've seen that. And then at USF, when he took over for Skip Holtz, who was 3-9 in his final year and really had done a poor job at USF and kind of run them aground. Willie came in his first year. They were awful, 2-10. He was trying to run Power I and just didn't have the personnel for it, and decided to spread them out and run some tempo, run the quarterback, adjust to his personnel, Tom. And in doing so, he got USF turned around pretty quickly.
Wait, what?
And soon, at the end of year 3, he had USF moving in the right direction and a 10-2 campaign and winning 17 of his last 21 games there at USF. That parlayed him into the position that he got at Oregon this past year, where he inherited a 4-8 team. Immediately identified a problem there with the culture and a lack of unity. Was able to promote that, get kids to buy in, and quickly get Oregon turned around to being bowl eligible and at 7-5. And really, had he had his starting quarterback all year long, you would have probably seen an even better record than that, because he was 5-1 with that individual. But nonetheless, already a turnaround there. And it'll be interesting to see what coaches he brings. Which ones at Oregon will come with him, if any. There is a thought that obviously he'd love to have Jim Leavitt come, the former USF coach, who could come here. He's currently with Willie at Oregon and be the defensive coordinator. There were talks of Cristobal, the offensive line coach, although I don't think that's going to happen. Would be nice, though. He's a good coach. But you'll hear a lot of rumors in the next 24 hours. You already have. But one thing that's no longer a rumor is that Willie Taggart is the head coach at Florida State. He was the candidate that I think most sought after by Florida State from the get-go, so it's good they got their guy. When you go through a process like this, you want to be sure, you want to be careful, and you want to do your due diligence. So even if you identify Willie Taggart as the guy that you think best fits Florida State at the time, given his ties to the state of Florida and his connections to recruits in this region and his ability to hit the ground running and maybe salvage something for this class and obviously launch Florida State forward in the coming years, you still need to sit back and take a listen as to who contacts you, who comes out of the woodwork and says, well, I'd be interested in the Florida State job. I'd certainly be excited about coaching Florida State. And you heard everything from, well, of course, some of the absurdities that you hear every time a job opens up, such as John Gruden. But, of course, we all roll our eyes there. But, you had the idea of Bob Stoops, who was in town. You heard perhaps Franklin from Penn State would make his way down here, and he'd be an interesting name for a lot of reasons and has done a good job at Penn State. You heard some other names, including Charlie Strong, who I don't think was ever really a candidate at all. Florida State wanted to get younger, more energetic. They wanted a coach who was I think, seen as young, aggressive, had a vision, was up and coming, was a tireless recruiter and worker, and had proven himself at a couple different stops. He certainly has. So at 41 years of age, it seemed to fit perfectly. But nonetheless, I think Florida State did their due diligence. And then they were able to get the commitment from Willie Taggart last night out in Arizona. Now you just need to wait and find out some of the details regarding that contract. I think everybody is very sensitive to the idea of huge buyouts, given what just happened. I don't think Florida State will make that same mistake. If it is, as rumored, 5 years, $25 million, 6 years, $30 million, let's say it's 5 and 25, then obviously you can do the math on what the buyout would be there. It's not nearly going to be as big a problem as the $40 million guaranteed to Jimbo had things not worked out and Florida State had to part ways with him. Yeah. So I think this is going to work out for everybody involved.
Yeah, before the show started today, in the 25 minutes leading up to it, I was tired of looking at Twitter, frankly, and news and outlets because you're just waiting for that final confirmation. And instead, I decided to watch an NBC Sports original mini documentary they did on Willie Taggart. It's simply called Taggart, and it profiles his early life, Western Kentucky at great length, great detail, USF some. And then very briefly, Oregon. You can find it, if you want to Google it after this program, of course. But it's about 24 minutes without the commercials. And it's just a very interesting story. I had known that Willie Taggart had ties to the Harbaugh family, obviously through his time at Stanford. But I didn't realize... He's a running backs coach there, yeah. I didn't realize that Jack Harbaugh was the head man at Western Kentucky. And all of the almost moments for Western Kentucky's football program to be shuttered, and how Willie Taggart arrived as a player at one point, as a coach at another point, when Western Kentucky as a program was about ready to call it a day, and how both times he saved them. As a player, he brought him to a lower subdivision national title as its quarterback. And then when he wasn't picked up by the NFL, he decided to be a coach right away. He was their offensive coordinator almost overnight.
Mm-hmm.
And he presided over, the national championship as the offensive coordinator. He called the plays for the national championship team. And then obviously he went and took the job with Jim out on the West Coast at Stanford, and his first head coaching job was at Western Kentucky, which had lost, I think you had
26
documented.
in a row, yeah.
Yes, they went 0-12 the previous year. And then he brought them back to a place where, reclassification was a possibility, where other coaches like Bobby Petrino for a season and Brom afterwards could preside over a program where you could use it to find your way to a big
as a catalyst for another job, right?
Correct,
Yeah,
correct.
Absolutely. And win football games because of what had been built by Willie Taggart.
But all the while, you're getting endorsements from people throughout his life.
Oh, it's worth
saying
watching, right?
The kind of person that Willie Taggart is. And of course, these things are going to have a positive spin to him. So, understand what you're consuming, but all different periods of his life. You have people who he's worked with professionally, known personally, that are vouching for this person as somebody who can light up a room. And I think that's the thing that excites me the most, because now, new head coach here against new head coach in Miami, relatively, and a brand new head coach in Gainesville. What's our pitch going to be? And it looks like we've got a great pitch man to go inside living rooms and leverage Florida State as a recruiting juggernaut and a place where you want to grow and succeed.
Well, one of the things that I like about Willie that you saw really play out at USF and something that has played out at Oregon again is the willingness to adapt to personnel. I don't think when he comes here he'll be as spread as he was at Oregon, but he will run the quarterback, Tom. We've all been kind of waiting on that for a while. He will do that. Probably run a little bit slower tempo than they ran at Oregon. But the ability to adapt and to play to personnel is something you want from your coach always. And, you look at this as to the potential of who he brings with him. A lot of people have reached out to us and asked about Jim Leavitt. Well, what you have here with Jim Leavitt is he is a potential candidate for the Oregon job. So he, as of right now, is staying behind to interview for that job. Mario Cristobal, the co-offensive coordinator at Oregon, is also a candidate for the Oregon job. So one of those two gentlemen is going to attempt to get the job that Willie Taggart vacates. Well, we'll see who else is in the mix for that. Obviously, you would suspect Kevin Sumlin's name will come up for that job. There is Justin Wilcox, a coach at Cal, who played at Oregon, by the way, is another candidate that you would suspect. Boise State's head coach, Brian Harsin, he garnered interest from Oregon during a search a year ago when they settled on Willie Taggart. So I guess, why do I bring that up? Because I know you guys don't care who the next Oregon coach is. Well, you do if it involves potential members of the staff at Florida State. So whether Leavitt comes or not certainly could depend solely on whether or not he gets the job at Oregon. If he does not, and I would suspect he will not, then I would think he would make his way to Tallahassee, which is a boon. Now, they're in a position. It's funny. The antithesis of what Florida State's about to embark on is what Oregon is going to do. Florida State had already lost the vast majority. I shouldn't say the vast majority. A lot of key members of its current recruiting class. And time was of the essence because of this, as we continued to hear announcements from players, highly decorated players, saying that they were not going to come to Tallahassee with all the uncertainty in the air. Now what we expect and task Willie Taggart with is to make an impact on those players and get some back in the fold, along with providing some that he already had committed to Oregon. Whereas Oregon's top priority will be to hold together Oregon's class, which is currently ranked 7th, which is one of the best they've ever had. So two different things going on here now, and it's going to be interesting to see how quickly Willie Taggart moves in doing that and putting together a staff.
Well, and one conversation it brings back that we haven't had for a few years, and as you're talking about, who Willie Taggart's assistant coach is going to be, Florida State is a place, again, where hopefully in a year or two, this is a good problem, assistant coaches are getting poached because they're taking promotions at other universities, or they're being worked up the pipeline here in Tallahassee. Once again, for the last couple of years, you've had continuity of the coaching staff, but nobody really, wants them all that much. Charles Kelly got the $1 million offer from Auburn that he turned down. That is absolutely true. But if you look at our assistants, our position coaches, largely, they're not sought after. And I think that's the cool thing about what we're doing here and what we're going to see over the next couple of weeks. I mean, you really don't have much time at all to fill your staff, given that the early signing period is 2 weeks from tomorrow. That's when it opens, and you have a lot of work to do to resuscitate some guys who were committed here to Florida State that like the university, not just the coaching staff, and they say, uncertainty, I got to go. Well, now there's certainty. So what can we do in the next couple of weeks with filling out the staff and getting that pitch moving? But listen, I want guys who other schools want a year from now.
You're damn
or 2
right.
years
You
from
want
now.
to you want to be mad about how many people are calling all your assistant coaches. Yes.
I want guys to use Florida State University as an opportunity to get the job they've always wanted. In the same way that Willie Taggart has used many jobs along the way to get the job he's wanted. And by all accounts, even when he was mulling over the decision to come here to Florida State, and you were looking at buyout numbers and details in the contracts, this is the gig he wanted. You wouldn't leave Oregon after 1 year. After 1 year trying to build a program and flip it over there, unless you're leaving for your dream job or one of your dream jobs.
I can't imagine. In moments like this, you do have the job of obviously making the announcements of what's official and what isn't, and to get the information out to our listeners, just as writers do for their individual websites or newspapers. But in moments like this, I always like to take time and pause, take a step back, and just think about how exciting it is for the individual and how exciting it is for some of the kids and the people that have ties to Willie and his family, and how amazing a moment this has to be for a kid who played down in Bradenton and to have come up in the state of Florida with all of the ties that he has, to have dedicated his life to football, and then to kind of work obviously as hard as you have to work. The coaching game these days is a one that requires tireless effort, and it seems never ending, right? To commit that fully and then to get this opportunity. Even removing the garnet and gold colored glasses for a second from both of our eyes, just thinking about what that must mean to him today, to have that fruition come to be, right? That dream, to have that all come to fruition, I should say. It's just unbelievable. So congratulations, Willie Taggart. And to those that, obviously are close to him, love him, and are excited for him, that's got to be a special moment. And then for those of us here that are excited about moving forward and we're waiting for this the last 72 hours or so, congratulations to all of us as well. Now, there are no guarantees with coaching hires. I thought it was the right hire. All you can do is make an educated guess based on the credentials, based on what you know of the man, based on what you've seen of his past, based on the resume. And the resume is a good one. This is a hire based on merit. This is a hire that when you look at his successes at places where it's awfully hard to succeed, suggests that he has a keen eye for talent and an ability to sell a vision and get people to buy in almost immediately, and to get things turned around quickly. I couple that with the willingness to change offensive philosophies midstream, understanding that what you want to do and what you're capable of doing may be two different things in the moment, and understanding that you are tasked with winning for that school right here, right now, and not just remaining beholden to a certain ideology, but understanding that maybe I've got to, until I get my guys here, adjust a little bit on the fly and find ways to win football games. That's the kind of stuff that really I find to be most uplifting and exciting about this kind of a hire.
Oh, there always is uncertainty. You could have the number one pick in the NFL draft, and there's still uncertainty about whether that person's going to be, the right player for you, and is going to be, someone who lives up to the expectations. But given the information that we have, and given the needs that we have, this checks all the boxes. This is a fit. It's a hire based on merit, and it's a hire that fits. And listen, if 3 years from now, it doesn't work.
Well, if it doesn't work, you can fire him, and you don't have some absurd buyout that you can't get out from underneath, and you're buried for years to come.
Exactly right. And for my money, I think it's going to work. But at minimum, I think what's going to be done here is we're going to continue to recruit. And so if it doesn't work and he's not able to put us over the top, then the next guy has a full cupboard again. It's just we needed to reboot the machine.
Funny.
And Jimbo wanted to leave anyway. It's not like Jimbo would have been compelled to stay. He took a job.
Yeah. No,
he wasn't kicked out the door. He took a job.
I said it last week when this all went down, and we all had a mixed range of emotions where it was sort of, well, on the one hand, God, I'm so appreciative of what Jimbo Fisher accomplished here. And, you know, I'm always going to remember the 2013 National Championship. And certainly as I sit back on Sundays these days and I flip around and I watch NFL games, I see Knowles everywhere that he brought to Florida State and helped foster and the talent uptick and the modernization in the way we go about the business of running a big-time program was upgraded because of Jimbo Fisher. And so all those things were true. You could say those things and understand those things and appreciate those things and still be ready to part ways because there were other things that were true too. And you had to weigh those just as heavily as this was moving, it would seem, in the wrong direction, and things had grown stagnant. And so he left, in my opinion, at a perfect time. Needed to go. Was unhappy here. You don't want somebody who's not happy where he's at. He's not going to do a good job. And he did not do a good job this year. He did not. So it was time for him to go. And we wish him well, I suppose. But now it's time to embrace the new and be excited about that influx of new blood, new life, new ways of doing things, and a new vision. And I think everybody will be on board. It's you always embrace change unless it's like something like you see at Arizona State where that's going to be every bit the train wreck you think it is. But for the most part, as long as you don't make an asinine decision and go so far out the realm of what seems reasonable, everybody's on board now. Everybody's excited now. And now in the coming days and weeks, what happens? What's the first impactful move that you get from Willie Taggart? Is there a moment in time where he says something during a press conference or addresses something that you've long been concerned about within the program? Or whatever it might be, we're now obviously in the business of kind of hyper-focusing on every step Willie Taggart takes. I mean, that's the world we live in now, and we'll probably make too big a deal of some things and too little of others, and that's where we're at.
Yeah, color me excited, man, because, when I was interning at the old place of employment, those were the waning days of Bobby's career. That was 2009. And that was its own kind of change because you knew who the next person was going to be. And then my first, real beat covering anything was Florida State football in the spring of 2010 when Jimbo took over, had open practices and an open scrimmage. Can you imagine?
Different times.
With all the new coaches. But all I've known, really, is the Jimbo Fisher era of this program. Of course, I grew up during the Bobby Bowden era, but never covered it, really. Mm-hmm. This is going to be exciting to watch, every step and just see how different of an approach there is. Because inherently, everybody's different. Everybody has to be themselves. There could be something that we just always assumed I always assumed was the way to do things. And Willie does it fundamentally different. This is going to be a fun learning experience. And we're all along on this ride together. Hopefully it's a good one.
And if I may just speak for a moment as a fan, it's going to be awfully fun to win yet another national championship and to have seen the joy in Miami fans' hearts so quickly extinguished after just one good season. After all this time of searching to have it snuffed just like that because Florida State, Johnny on the spot, made the right move at just the right time. We give you that one win to break up the Platinum Bohica, but thus begins a new streak of us kicking your ass. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, only Mahindra, the makers of the toughest utility vehicles on earth, can give you the best year-end deal on earth. So let us show you how to get tax savings on your new Mahindra XTV. And get cash back and savings up to $2,500 on select clearance models. Plus, get a free roof and Mahindra's 3-year warranty.
TNT. I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
The holiday challenge is on at JCPenney. Starting Thursday, come in and find thousands of great gifts for up to 60% off throughout the store. Like up to 60 off fine jewelry, plus an extra 40% off with your JCPenney credit card. Plus, save on the brands you love, like 25% off Nike Team apparel. And stay on top of the latest trends with 50% off select Liz Claiborne apparel. Hurry, these deals won't last. JCPenney. Offers represent savings on regular original prices while supplies last. Credit offer subject to credit approval. Some exclusions apply. See store jcp.com for details.
It's been called shell shock, war neurosis, and battle fatigue. Today, we call it post-traumatic stress disorder, and it affects 1 out of every 5 warriors returning from battle in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Wounded Warrior Project offers comfort and support for warriors with PTSD and all other scars of war, whether those scars are visible or hidden. Find out how to help, because for warriors, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. Please visit woundedwarriorproject.org.
Landowners, only Mahindra, the makers of the toughest utility vehicles on Earth, can give you the best year-end deal on Earth. Let Mahindra show you how to get tax savings on your new Mahindra XTV and get cash back and savings up to $2,500 on select clearance models.
North Florida and South Georgia's authorized Mahindra dealer is TNT Super Center, US 19 South in Thomasville, and at TNTSupercenter.com.
Offer with approved credit. See dealer for details. Program restrictions may apply.
Nice shot there, Dickie Lang. I'm sure you'll get out of the bunker this time. Here's Cameron from 160. Maybe a 9-iron. No, it's an 8-iron. Probably just hitting it 3/4.
It's the season for some Gordos. La 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 la.
Eddie? What in the world are you doing here? You don't even golf.
Be that as it may, Jeff, my holiday spirit knows no bounds. I come bearing gifts.
Outstanding. What do you have there, sir?
3 gifts. Gold, frankincense, and mahi fingers for all. Gold and frankincense not included.
Very thoughtful of you, Eddie. You don't have to do this, man.
That's what we do, man. This is the holiday season. This is the time when you show the people you love and the people that you care about just how much they mean to you.
You're absolutely right. I'm glad we get to share this with the community together.
Well, that's why I'm here, bud. Well, that. And I want to use that driver you got.
It's par 3, Eddie. Not using the driver.
7!
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Ran long on the last segment, so this won't be as long. The breaking news, according to reports, Bruce Feldman, amongst others, reporting that Willie Taggart has agreed to become the next head coach at Florida State University. I guess this is nothing more than the official nature of all this, although it doesn't become official until Florida State issues the release and or Willie Taggart does.
Yeah, if I had to guess, Florida State had a handshake agreement with its new head football coach that we won't release anything till after you meet with your players, which would be right now.
Yeah, he's meeting with his players right now. The reason this would get released is somebody who was present at that, whether it be Sexton or somebody else, released it to Feldman. And Feldman's got connections all over college football. So I'm going to go ahead and venture a guess here. But Sexton probably told Feldman. That's just me. That's my guess. That's how it works, man. You write books with people.
BF, it's Jay Sexy. Yeah. Go ahead with the Willie news.
If Sexton calls himself Jay Sexy in a text, he's my hero. And he should do that at all times.
Why shouldn't he at this point?
I mean, that is really good. Hey, JC, Jay Sexy, listen. Just thought you should know. Thanks, Jay Sexy. It's always weird to text. Type out Jay Sexy.
He won't respond to you unless you text him and address him as Jay Sexy.
Yeah. My wife sees Jay Sexy and goes, "Who is that?" Oh, it's a dude. He's kind of older.
Wears khakis.
Sure. Okay, Tiger. Oh, I'm telling you, it's Jay Sexy. He's frumpy, kind of just. No. I'll show you a picture of Jay Sexy.
He's rich as hell, though.
Yeah, very rich. At Jay Cameron Show. Man, I'm thick. It just struck me. Hey, now.
Whoa.
That Willie Taggart has substantially more head coaching experience than Jimbo had coming in 8 years ago. Maybe he can even excel without a once-in-a-generation quarterback who erases his mistakes. It's a very good tweet, Mario.
I think he's coming from a certain angle there.
Maybe. Might be, yeah.
Approaching it.
He's approaching at it, yeah. Oh, man, so many of these to get to. Love the Knowles tweets at Jay Cameron Show, @_Tom Lang. Miami blew their one chance. This was it. The dream's over. FSU won't play down to Miami's level again. Still have the better roster. They parlayed this year into nothing. Well, that's certainly, I think, the sentiment of many of us. I agree. They barely parlayed this into something. They didn't win the ACC or anything.
I just came home. I haven't seen you in a long time, and I'm breaking your balls, and you're right away you're getting fucking fresh. I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend you.
I'm sorry, too. It's okay. No problem.
Okay, salute. Now go home and get your fucking shine box.
That's the nature of that tweet.
That's exactly, yes.
That's exactly, yeah. Yes.
We were a little astray in 2017, I'm sorry, we got a little out of there, but, I'm just here on Christmas.
Well, if we're doing movie quotes, one of my all-time favorites, and it's as intense a movie quote as we get, but, Willie's going to have to ask for everyone, so feel free to fire away.
Bring me everyone.
What do you mean, everyone?
Everyone! Well played, Willie. I think people are scurrying now. That is still one of the all-time greats, and I love that movie. I've seen it 50 times.
Hey, can we firm up your commitment right now? No reason. No reason. I'm just wondering, can we count on you?
Oh, man. That's fun. We did not, as you guys can tell, record Seminole headlines today. How about that? How about the foresight to know that maybe, just maybe, something would break today and that it would be instantly dated if we had recorded headlines this morning. This time around, we got it right. I said to T. Lizzie last night and again this morning, it's you and me, buddy, all 3 hours. Pure Cameron Show tomorrow. We'll wait on headlines, and that way we can report back on what just occurred.
Well, I believe Jay Sexy's going to get the job done. Sounds like a deal, man. This news is going to break without the jinx.
Way to go, Jay Sexy! Sexton doesn't know it, but he's been granted a new nickname. And it's Jay Sexy. And somebody should tell him about it. Jay Sexty, it's the guys at Jay Sexy, not Sexty.
Well, that would be different.
That
might get him fired.
That's actually kind of funny because it's Sexton. We could call him Jay Sexty.
You don't want to be corresponding with Jay Sexty.
No. We should let him know. Hey,
Loading attachment? What?
It's the Jeff Cameron Show. The boys at 97.9 ESPN Radio. Anyhow, Jay Sexy, we were wondering.
Jay Sexy, you get that blank window with the wheel that says loading. 0 KB of 5 megabytes.
We always
what
get
is
that.
this?
We get that from Matt Millara. Every text, I'm like, no, not another one of these. Not another one of these.
Like you think, people.
Oh, no, not like that. No,
that's not.
It's always something meant to try to get us in trouble.
Matt's not,
where he's giggling.
In the bathroom at work or anything.
No, he's
like that.
He's giggling. He's sending it as he giggles. Like, wait till that shows up on their phone. Whoa, we've been in a meeting. Oh,
that's true.
Yeah, it's a little bit like Klobowski. He's like, it's just ooh. Well, sorry about that. Oh, hey.
Yes.
Oh. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, only Mahindra, the world's #1 selling tractor, can give you the #1 year-end deal. Let us show you how to get tax savings on the toughest tractors on earth and get up to $7,400 in discounts along with Mahindra's 7-year warranty. Plus, get an Emax 22 with mid-mower for just $134 a month.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
Hey, I'm Travis with Parker Brothers Roofing. Some roofers are like a bad boyfriend. They make lots of promises, but in reality, they're just cheap. They don't own up to their mistakes, and they leave you with a lot of regret. Parker Brothers Roofing stands behind every installation, and if a mistake is made, we own it and fix it. Our customers never have to worry about being left behind for the next job. At Parker Brothers, it's quality that builds our quantity. Call us at 656-8112.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
License number CCC 049350.
Need a place to watch your favorite sporting event? Hobbit American Grill, voted best wings in Tallahassee by Tally Awards 3 years in a row. Thirsty? They have the Lucky Sevens. $7 domestic pitchers after 7 p.m., 7 days a week, $7.95. Daily specials. Locally owned and operated since 1978. Hobbit American Grill keeps it local with a wide variety of locally crafted beers plus a full bar. Hobbit American Grill. 3 locations to choose from. 400 Capitol Circle Southeast, 2020 West Pensacola Street, and 5032 Capitol Circle Southwest. Visit them online at myhobbitonline.com.
Landowners, only Mahindra, the makers of the toughest utility vehicles on earth, can give you the best year-end deal on earth. Let Mahindra show you how to get tax savings on your new Mahindra XTV and get cash back and savings up to $2,500 on select clearance models.
North Florida and South Georgia's authorized Mahindra dealer is TNT Super Center, US 19 South in Thomasville, and at TNTSuperCenter.com.
Offer with approved credit. See dealer for details. Program restrictions may apply.
It's Golic and Wingo. I know we talked about Carson Wentz as your midseason MVP, and Tom Brady's name certainly goes there for what he's doing. But if Russell Wilson doesn't put on a cape every single week, they're in trouble. And they're just a bad O-line. But Russell Wilson's ability to escape Mike and find and do things on the run has been ridiculous.
Golic and Wingo, weekday mornings from 7 to 10 on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news. Major punishment for Russia for the 2018 Winter Olympics for running a state-sponsored doping system. The International Olympic Committee suspended the Russian Olympic Committee. The IOC says the Russians who compete in South Korea will do so as individuals under a neutral flag. Steelers receiver Juju Smith-Schuster and Bengals safety George Iloka each suspended one game for their actions in last night's game. Steelers linebacker Ryan Shazier continuing to undergo evaluations in a Cincinnati hospital on a back injury. The hope is that he can return to Pittsburgh today. Patriots tight end Rob Gronkowski's appeal hearing of his one-game suspension for that hit on Bills DB Tre'Davious White is being heard today. That hit over the line, believes ESPN's Louis Riddick.
I've watched guys hit players like that 100 times and it wasn't called back in the day. But you can't do it now, and you'll never hear me say, oh, don't throw the flag. I'll say, look, you're going to have to throw the flag. And players, if you can't adjust, you're going to get fined and get knocked out. Right. But what Gronk did is different. Let me just qualify by saying this. What he did is BS, and we know it.
That's our Louis Riddick on Golic and Wingo. White is in the concussion protocol.
Experience why for nearly a century men have trusted Barbasol for a close, comfortable shave. Whether it's extra moisturizing with vitamin E or soothing aloe, all you have to do is sit back and bask in the glory of your close shave. You're looking good, America. You're shaving with Barbasol.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
So, should we do W's and L's? Why don't we do W's and L's? You ready?
Really?
All right.
We don't even know who the staff's going to be yet.
I'm not worried about all that. We got Willie Taggart, man. What the hell's wrong with you? We're good. L's. Wins.
All right. How you doing?
Losses.
Damn it! We lost! We f***ing super lost, man!
Where do we triumph? Where doth thou fall? It's a little bit more difficult to do W's and L's when all the games haven't been scheduled, so you don't know where they are and when. So it's very difficult to decide who's going to win them. But on this day, I think it's fairly obvious that we'll be able to transcend the normal process and correctly project W's and L's despite kind of educatedly guessing when the games are being played and where.
Process? What the hell's a process?
Now, I know, obviously, that we play, for example, home games against Florida, Boston College, Clemson, Wake Forest, Virginia Tech, Samford, and Northern Illinois. That I know. And we play away games against Louisville, NC State, Syracuse, and Miami. Now, the order of those, we don't know. So I'm just going to randomly suggest where I think they'll be, and you decide whether or not you think those are wins or losses, all right?
We do know the bookends.
We know Florida's at the end and Virginia Tech's at the beginning.
And we know that Notre Dame is 2 weeks prior to Florida.
That's right, Saturday, November the 10th.
Yeah.
And that game is at Notre Dame.
Correct.
That is in South Bend. I will be there. I don't know about you, Tom, but I will be at that game, sir.
I'd like to find a way to budget for that, yes.
I am going to that game for certain. I'd like it if you were there. Maybe we could go spend 2-3 days even in preparation for that game. That's going to be simply gorgeous. November, cool weather, us kicking Notre Dame's ass under Willie Taggart in his first year. What a wonderful time, Tom.
I've never been to Chicago, which is where I think we would station ourselves,
My
right?
goodness. I've been to Chicago 10, 12 times, maybe more. I got some ideas what we could do when we're in Chicago.
Okay.
I've got places, man. Some fun places to go.
I will let you plan the trip, fund the trip, and everything in between.
He's trying to sneak the trip in. Well, I'm going to want my six-pack for Florida State's big basketball victory.
You deserve it, sir.
I'm going to want that.
You should have given me 15, 20 points.
I'm going to, yeah. Well, I could have given you 15. You wouldn't have covered. But I'm gonna have to insist upon a porter, I think, given the time of year that it is. I know you're not chintzy, so you'll be all right.
Oh,
with that.
yeah. No. Yeah. Holiday 5-pack it is.
Virginia Tech, Monday, September the 3rd, Doak Campbell Stadium. Oh, good times, buddy. I'm going to go with an 8 p.m. kick at Doak. Willie Taggart's first game as head coach of Florida State. Runaway victory. W for Willie.
Okay. I mean, how can you go? I mean, the emotion in that place is going to be crazy.
Virginia Tech can't compete, Tom. Could be a 3-touchdown victory.
Oh, God.
W
it is.
Samford wants nothing on September the 8th, just 5 days later. I am so sorry, Samford. Have a good one. 2-0.
Nor does Samford's son. 2-0.
So then there's a TBA September the 15th. Looks like that's going to be a road game against Syracuse. That's going to be a victory.
That's where you decided to pick it.
I'm picking that.
Wait, now Cameron's breaking the schedule.
No, that's me projecting a road game against Syracuse in conference.
Well, I mean, goodness gracious.
I like us to win that game.
Great balls of 3-0.
Yeah, another victory for Florida State. Then the following week, Northern Illinois will come here. No chance for the Huskies. Willie Taggart and the Noles are 4-0.
I like that first month. You can really get accustomed to the system. I like it. 4-0 it is.
I like it, too. I think that's fun. All right, so then it's September the 29th after such a grand start to Willie's time here. I think it's then that we maybe go on the road and face Miami.
Okay.
The Platinum Bohica was interrupted with a dramatic last-second loss. But a new streak begins next year. Willie Taggart begins 1-0 against Miami on the road.
Well, Mark Walton has said goodbye.
He has said goodbye.
They'll have a first-year starting quarterback, I would think.
I wish Rozier would be back.
Well, he might be, but they might just have a first-year starting quarterback.
He's terrible.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a win.
I'm going to go with a win there, too.
Okay.
Yeah. I think there's a theme developing here. Then I'm noticing on October the 6th, there's a TBA as well. That's when we're facing Boston College at home, Tom.
Oh, okay.
We get Boston College at home there. That's an easy runaway victory, avenging our 35-3 loss.
Oh, we got a little bit of a revenge tour feel to the 2018 campaign, don't we?
A little bit.
All right.
I remember one of these. Then October the 13th, after that, I believe we'll probably be playing at home yet again, this time against Wake Forest, Tom. Wake Forest. Big win there.
No revenge necessary, but still,
Big win there. Yeah, another win for Willie. Boy, he's off to a great start. Just off to a great start. I really like the way this man has hit the ground running. October the 20th, we go on the road to face NC State. That's a lopsided victory for Willie Taggart and the Noles. Maybe 3-4 touchdown.
Yeah, it might be a look ahead.
Another revenge tour.
Because I could see where you're going with this.
Yeah, that's a win on the road against NC State, but you are returning home to face Clemson. Big game there.
Okay.
Big game there on the 27th of October. Ooh, that'll be fun.
Okay, so no bye week. Okay, we're facing.
No, I mean, one of these will be a bye week, so just skip ahead at some of these. But
I would think we get the bye before Clemson. That's the way these guys like to do it, right?
You can make that November 3rd if you like. But that would be tough because it's right before you face Notre Dame on the road. I think you get the bye that weekend, so you get Clemson 2 weeks out.
Boy, and you know what? That reminds me.
Of another victory? I agree with you. We end Clemson's 3-game win streak. Willie Taggart is rolling big here.
I wonder how often Willie will be working the phones with the ACC office for scheduling.
Yeah. Well, I've put together a pretty good one, I'd like to say here. I like the way this works.
Backloaded, yeah.
Yeah. Then we're on the road. Tough right off the bat there. Looks like we've got Louisville Looks like we got Louisville on the road.
Oh, boy, this is
But Lamar's gone, so that'll be that, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Easy win. Back to kicking their ass every year.
He's playing, as a second or third string quarterback in the NFL. And
CFL somewhere doing some things.
Oh, he would light up the CFL.
Oh, it's a wide field. You can really run. And then from there, we got the Notre Dame game. We already pronounced that to be a victory. And then you got we got to find a sissy here to play before you take on Florida. Well, maybe I didn't do this right. Maybe somebody else will be there. It'll be one of those weaker.
Well, you said Sanford and Northern Illinois, right?
Well, but that's already cemented. That's already in there, yeah.
Well, what if we had a bye week in week 2 when we were supposed to play Sanford according to your schedule?
We can move Sanford. You want to move Sanford?
Yeah, so we get
Well, we have a TBA on September the 15th, so maybe that's the bye week. That's
because it'll be a short week.
Yeah. That's before you face Northern Illinois. So
okay,
yeah. We'll put a game there.
Sanford.
And we'll put somebody there.
I would bet it actually is there. I mean, that's what we like to do. It's
currently scheduled for September the 8th.
Oh, it's
legitimately
like hard scheduled
for it.
It's
legitimately hard
well,
scheduled
that's
for
ridiculous.
September the 8th.
Let's move that.
Well, I mean, it's right after you play. It's a reward for playing Virginia Tech on that Monday.
Okay.
All right. So, by the way, anyhow, so whatever game we have on the 17th, it looks like a win. I can tell that looks like a win to me. I'm not sure who the opponent
Don't
is.
let logistics get in the way of the greater point.
What are we doing here? And then, obviously, you get Florida to come here, and you continue the winning streak to 6 straight over them. And then it's off to the ACC Championship game, Bank of America Stadium there in Charlotte. What a year for Willie Taggart and the Noles. 12-0. That's W's and L's. All right. How about that? Back to winning conference championships and competing for national titles. It's very easy to tell from here just by surveying that schedule, given who he is and what's about to happen. I think I'm right. Now, we'll go ahead and book it on the 5th of December, 2017 as our first projections. That's a 12-0 regular season campaign.
I think it is, yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and book that.
Might feel a little optimistic, but
some people would say that we've gotten carried away with Florida State's new hire. And we watch this happen from afar with other schools when they believe that their next guy is the savior. But we're not subject to those kinds of unreasonable leaps in logic. So what I'm telling you is this is foolproof. This is foolproof. This is it.
Well, and some people still will take this as literal fact, and we'll say, well, remember when you said we'd go 12-0?
Some would.
Yeah. That's going to be fun to get that email.
It's that guy that emails or calls that literally doesn't get sarcasm in any shape or form, and you have to explain to him that you were kidding. But no, you said it straight-faced, Cameron. You even said that we were playing Boston College in October the 6th, and I wrote it down.
Wrong again.
Yeah, we're not playing BC on the 6th of October. Look, they just released the schedule. I don't know who your sources are. Final hour forthcoming. Stay with.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men on a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Blountstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, only Mahindra, the world's #1 selling tractor, can give you the #1 year-end deal. Let us show you how to get tax savings on the toughest tractors on earth and get up to $7,400 in discounts along with Mahindra's 7-year warranty. Plus, get an Emax 22 with mid-mower for just $134 a month.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my poor truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
And mahi fingers for all. Golden frankincense not included.
Very thoughtful of you, Eddie. You don't have to do this, man.
That's what we do, man. This is the holiday season. This is the time when you show the people you love and the people that you care about just how much they mean to you.
You're absolutely right. I'm glad we get to share this with the community together.
Well, that's why I'm here, bud. Well, that. And I want to use that driver you got.
It's par 3, Eddie. Not using the driver.
7!
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Hendrick.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your savings. Race into Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC for the best selection and service in Tallahassee. Get incredible discounts on racetrack-worthy vehicles like $10,000 off select new Buicks and GMCs. We are professional grade. And that's not all. We've got a huge used car inventory, so you can find a quality pre-owned vehicle to fit any budget. We even offer low payments and exceptional offers like 0% APR financing. Hassle? No way. Haggle? Never. At Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC, you'll deal with people you know, like, and trust, and get the honest, friendly service you deserve. That's why our customers will tell you there's no better car buying experience in town. Visit us today at 1850 Capitol Circle Northeast or online at DaleJr.BuickGMC.com. And remember, you too can be a Hendrick driver.
Parker Brothers Roofing says don't play games with your roof. Protect your home and your family. The Parker Brothers tell you the truth. We'll fix your roof, cause it's what we do. With quality, integrity, and pride. Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
Hey, I'm Travis with Parker Brothers Roofing. Some roofers are like a bad boyfriend. They make lots of promises, but in reality, they're just cheap. They don't own up to their mistakes, and they leave you with a lot of regret. Parker Brothers Roofing stands behind every installation, and if a mistake is made, we own it and fix it. Our customers never have to worry about being left behind for the next job. At Parker Brothers, it's quality that builds our quantity. Call us at 656-8112.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
License number CCC 049350.
Tallahassee loves the corner pocket as much as a crystal ball winning catch.
He's looking, he lost it to the end zone. It's Benjamin! Touchdown! With 13 seconds left.
The 97.9 ESPN radio special is a must-have every Monday and Wednesday at the corner pocket. 10 mouth-watering wings, a fresh side of fries, and a chilled domestic pint of beer are just $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
He's gone!
Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news. Major punishment for Russia for the 2018 Winter Olympics for running a state-sponsored doping system. The International Olympic Committee suspended the Russian Olympic Committee. The IOC says the Russians who compete in South Korea will do so as individuals under a neutral flag. Steelers receiver Juju Smith-Schuster and Bengals safety George Iloka each suspended one game for their actions in last night's game. Steelers linebacker Ryan Shazier continuing to undergo evaluations in a Cincinnati hospital on a back injury. The hope is that he can return to Pittsburgh today. Patriots tight end Rob Gronkowski's appeal hearing of his one-game suspension for that hit on Bills DB Tre'Davious White is being heard today. That hit over the line, believes ESPN's Louis Riddick.
I've watched guys hit players like that 100 times and it wasn't called back in the day. But you can't do it now, and you'll never hear me say, oh, don't throw the flag. I'll say, look, you're going to have to throw the flag. And players, if you can't adjust, you're going to get fined and get knocked out. Right. But what Gronk did is different. Let me just qualify it by saying this. What he did is BS, and we know it.
That's our Louis Riddick on Golick and Wingo. White is in the concussion protocol.
Experience why for nearly a century men have trusted Barbasol for a close, comfortable shave. Whether it's extra moisturizing with vitamin E or soothing aloe, all you have to do is sit back and bask in the glory of your close shave. You're looking good, America. You're shaving with Barbasol.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Thanks for tuning to it, and a fine Lawn Maintenance Tuesday to you and yours, and one in which we all celebrate the announcement that Willie Taggart is Florida State's next head football coach. University has not sent the release just yet, but the reports originating from Bruce Feldman state that Willie Taggart has, in fact, accepted the position of head coach at Florida State University. Good times indeed.
Even Edward Ashoff of ESPN says Willie Taggart has confirmed to him personally that he's coming. So, yeah.
Online, it's ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. If you miss anything, and you may have today, everybody's busy, I got you. A lot to catch up on, including the moment when we first learned that what we already knew to be true and suspected fully became confirmation, and that is that Willie Taggart was Florida State's choice, and he had accepted to be head coach at Florida State. That's all going to be posted on iTunes and in our own audio vault upon the conclusion of the program. You can email the show if you like. It's jcs@979espnradio.com. You can also find me on Twitter at @JCameronShow. WTSM app is good for mobile devices. And if you want to watch us perform our duties here on the radio, you can just go to YouTube and type in ESPN Tallahassee. And we appreciate all of you listening, no matter how it is that you do. Not to quote Colin Cowherd, but that was something very similar. So, you know, there's no getting around the enthusiasm a lot of people feel today because it seems like kind of a, to quote Jimbo Fisher, no-brainer that Florida State would go after Willie Taggart given the circumstances and what he brings to the table and what he's been able to do as a head coach, and a couple of really difficult circumstances, first at Western Kentucky where he had to usher them from FCS to FBS and had to take a team in a program that hadn't won a game over the last 26 that they had played, getting them quickly turned around in a couple of years to guiding them to a winning record and into the FBS and to bowl eligibility. And then obviously at USF taking over after Skip Holtz ran that program into the ground and was simply an embarrassment. And Taggart took that program and immediately recognized that they had a long way to go, had a really trying first year. I think it was 2-10. And then from there realized I need to change what I'm doing offensively to match my personnel. I want to run power I right now, but I really can't do that. So we're going to run spread and tempo. I'm going to run my quarterback. USF adapted, quickly began to win football games, and so much so that Willie Taggart parlayed that job into successes and into a place where Charlie Strong can now be successful, and went out to Oregon in year one, inherited a 4-8 team, and had them bowl eligible at 7-5. So he's been able to fix problems, and he's been able to recognize deficiencies, and he's been able to unify groups of kids and administrators to see the vision. And now he'll attempt to do that here at Florida State, coming off of the most trying season that we've had in many a memory. I guess you can go back to a couple of 7-6 seasons with Bobby there at the end, but this was seemingly worse than that. We were still searching for a home win into the midway point of the season, and still hoping for bowl eligibility, rescheduling games that have been canceled and everything else into December just to get bowl eligible. But anyhow, I'm not going to dwell on the negative now, because there's a lot of positive here. I guess the next big step will be an official announcement from Florida State in the form of a release, and then Willie Taggart addressing the press, which we think will take place tomorrow.
Yeah, no doubt. And the reason that I think this was the most disappointing season.
Well, the preseason ranked number 3.
Right. You have the talent, but that's also the reason to be hopeful for a quicker turnaround. There's a lot of talent here, even though a lot on the defense will be purged from year to year. Derwin James announcing today that he is going to go pro, as we expected, but he's not going to participate in the Independence Bowl in Shreveport.
No need to do that. I would, again, for those just tuning in, remind you, really cool moment to go back and read the Players Tribune today. You'll get a Derwin James article penned by Derwin. He talks about what it means to be a Nole to him and how long he had wanted to be and his commitment to this program for life, and basically his thoughts on the coaches and players and his time here at Florida State. It's a classy piece, really well done from the heart, and I think you'll be awfully proud of his words and his commitment. But he won't play in the bowl game, and it's just a glorified exhibition game. It's Shreveport, folks. Sorry. There's no sense in risking millions and millions of dollars on that game. That simply doesn't matter. Now, it does matter to us because if you lose it, you finish the year sub 500. So I hate to see him go, but I get it, and I understand it, and I know that if I were in a position to cash in a check for millions of dollars and all I had to do was sit out that game, well, then I probably would.
Well, it's a fascinating question, too, for the next couple of weeks. Well, actually, 3+ if you're just talking about the bowl game itself. Is how much impact will Willie Taggart have on coaching the game? Typically in these circumstances, you don't see the new coach on the sidelines, but how much day-to-day interaction will he have with the 15 practices you get? The interim coaching staff may finish their obligations here, and Willie might just want to go recruit and then work with the team in the spring when it comes to day-to-day practices. But maybe not. So I find that interesting. That'll be one of the more sought-after answers for tomorrow's press conference.
Really quick, just got this sent to us a moment ago, and so I want to make sure we give credit where credit's due. Certainly my good friend Tim Linnefelt deserves it here from Seminoles.com. If you go, he's got a piece. Well, I'm going to read it. Tim, I'm going to read your words, buddy. Here you go. Let's read. Willie Taggart named Florida State head football coach after less than a week on the hunt. Florida State has its man. FSU on Tuesday announced that Willie Taggart, the former coach at Western Kentucky, South Florida, and Oregon, has agreed to become the next head coach of the Seminole football team. A Bradenton, Florida native who grew up as a Florida State fan, Taggart is the 10th full-time head coach in program history, just its third head coach since 1976, when the legendary Bobby Bowden first took over in Tallahassee. He succeeds Jimbo Fisher, who recently left after 11 seasons with FSU, including 8 as a head coach. Taggart brings a 47-50 overall record as a head coach, but that mark includes massive rebuilding jobs at Western Kentucky and South Florida, as well as a quick turnaround at Oregon. Western Kentucky, Taggart's alma mater, had lost 20 straight games when he took over in 2010, but under Taggart's guidance, the Hilltoppers went 2-10 in their first year, then 7-5 in both 2011 and 2012. Taggart's stay in Tampa followed a similar script. He took over a team that went 3-9 the year before his arrival, and after a 2-10 mark his first year, doubled the Bulls' wins totals in 2014 and in 2015, finishing the year 8-4. That momentum carried into a memorable 2016 campaign in which the Bulls set a school record with 11 wins and capped their season with a 46-39 victory over Southeastern Conference foe South Carolina. That was enough to catch the attention of the Ducks, who were in need of a rebuild after stumbling to a 4-8 season, and Taggart took over there. Quickly got them to 7-4, including wins over Nebraska, Utah, Arizona, and Oregon State. The Ducks might have been in for even bigger things had they not lost starting quarterback Justin Herbert to a broken collarbone earlier this year. Goes on to talk about Taggart has earned a reputation as one of the nation's top recruiters, which ought to come in handy with the first ever early signing period looming December the 20th. Taggart's Florida roots, he was a few years behind Nebraska star Tommy Frazier at Manatee High in Bradenton, having helped make strong inroads in the state's prep football community. It goes on to talk about a few other things, those turnarounds and recruiting classes, and he was first a quarterback and a 4-year starter at the position at Western Kentucky, and was recruited by Jack Harbaugh, Jim Harbaugh's dad, and then you go on from there. Taggart went on to become a 2-time finalist for the Walter Payton Award, which is presented annually to the top player in the NCAA FCS. He is one of only 4 players in the program's history to have his jersey retired. He later reconnected with Jim Harbaugh when Harbaugh hired him to coach running backs at Stanford in 2007. Taggart held the post for 3 seasons and helped the Cardinals standout Toby Gerhart to a unanimous All-American honor and a runner-up finish in the 2009 Heisman Trophy. Taggart and his wife, Tanisha, have 3 children, sons Willie Jr. and Jackson, and daughter Morgan. So there's the skinny on Willie Taggart, who is the now named head coach at Florida State University. Very exciting.
And the fact that that's coming from Seminoles.com is the university saying, all right, we've given Willie enough time to meet with his players. We can officially comment on it in some variety. No statements yet from the president or the athletic director that we've seen.
Except Florida State Athletics has now just sent out a new notice, and they will hold a press conference tomorrow at 11 a.m. at the Dunlap Champions Club on the 4th floor of Doak Campbell Stadium as Board of Trustees Chair Ed Burr, President John Thrasher, and Vice President and Director of Athletics Dan Wilcox formally introduce Willie Taggart as the Seminoles' next head football coach. Tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. press conference. We'll be there as Willie Taggart is announced the next head coach at Florida State University.
Okay, so he's on a flight soon.
Yeah, I'm guessing, Tom, that he's on a flight now and will be here for a booster party tonight.
Okay. Well,
and the
shake hands, kiss babies, and let's not burn bridges. Let's do all those three things, huh?
So the shaking of the hands and the kissing of the babies shall commence, and the hopefully stroking of checks will follow, and then the press conference tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. on the 4th floor of Doak Campbell Stadium. Good times, man. Good times indeed. That's good news. You know what else is good news? Florida State's basketball team is still undefeated after a trek down to Gainesville in which they knocked off the number 5 ranked Gators for the 4th consecutive time, something I will discuss momentarily. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, only Mahindra, the makers of the toughest utility vehicles on earth, can give you the best year-end deal on earth. So let us show you how to get tax savings on your new Mahindra XTV and get cash back and savings up to $2,500 on select clearance models. Plus, get a free roof and Mahindra's 3-year warranty.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
And 5032 Capitol Circle Southwest. Visit them online at myhobbitonline.com.
Oh no! My lunch has been ravaged by ants.
Go to Bandito's Burritos.
Out on the golf course, there are the obvious hazards. There's the pond, the bunker, the rough, the even rougher.
Yeah, put me down for an 8.
The giant maples. The row of houses out of bounds on the right. The angry flock of geese who've surrounded your ball. Even the occasional groundskeeper you had no clue was there. But if you think you found every possible hazard out there, think again. The hazard you missed could actually be a killer. It's the spot on your skin. the one that could be skin cancer. Fact is, if you're a man over 50, you're in a group most likely to develop skin cancer, including melanoma, the kind that kills one person every hour. 1 in 5 Americans is likely to develop a form of skin cancer during their lifetime. That's why your best shot is to check for a spot. It's easy. Follow through and check your skin. It could be the save of a lifetime. Go to spotskincancer.org to find out how. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
Don't just listen to The Jeff Cameron Show. Watch it live. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Live weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. Head to ESPNTallahassee.com today to watch live or catch up on demand. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Brought to you by Nice Tire and Auto, your trusted Goodyear dealer. 574-4100. And presented by TNT Supercenter in Thomasville, Georgia, and Franklin Spring Creek Ford.
Today, when you buy any golf cart at TNT Supercenter in Thomasville, they will deliver it to you for free. Yes, free delivery within a 50-mile radius of Thomasville and TNT Supercenter. This means you, Tallahassee, and you too, Valdosta. And it gets even better. For a limited time, when you purchase your cart at TNT Supercenter, you'll receive huge discounts, up to 30% off on all your accessories. We're talking major discounts on wheels, tires, lifts, seats, you name it, on everything you'll need to customize and personalize your new golf cart. TNT Supercenter has new carts, pre-owned carts, club car and Yamaha carts, even Star EV carts. And when you buy today at TNT Supercenter, they will deliver it for free within a 50-mile radius of Thomasville. Are you listening, Valdosta? Did you hear me, Tallahassee? Over 150 carts in stock with free delivery and huge discounts on accessories. Only at TNT Supercenter, US 19 South, next to the Dairy Queen in Thomasville. View inventory and pricing at TNTSupercenter.com.
TNT. Need help moving? 2 Men and a Truck Tallahassee provides professional home and business move services, both locally and long distance. For your next move, visit 2men.com or call them at 850-224-2232. 2 Men and a Truck, the movers who care.
You're locked in with The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Taggart's the next head coach at Florida State. It's been announced from Florida State, and press conference tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. I'll be there, as will the assembled masses, to listen to Coach Taggart address the media here in Tallahassee for the first time. Also, I don't think, John, they're going to do what you're hoping for, which is to arrange Coach Taggart's arrival to have the marching chiefs playing the war chant, then have him ride off into sunset on Renegade through the gates of Doak and plant the spear as the sold-out stadium cheers, which is wonderful in mocking Texas A&M. But exciting news, obviously, and we've talked all afternoon long about Willie Taggart, as this was just a formality, getting the official announcement, but we've been talking since last week that it would be Willie Taggart, and I think it's a good hire. It's an exciting hire, and one that now will wait good things, including the announcements of a staff and what he can salvage a recruiting class here.
Echoes something I said on Friday, which is this is only the beginning, because now he has to fill out his staff, and from there there's recruiting. So from here on out to signing day, I mean, that's going to be a really busy time for the staff, for us to get to know how they recruit, who they can recruit, and everybody in the business that's connected seems to think they're going to make a splash and make a splash quickly. Then you got about a month's time to chill out, watch some basketball. I mean, solely basketball. Then spring ball starts, and people are going to care about that more than they usually do, because there's a new way of doing things.
Well, you can bet Florida State is really excited. And first of all, I mean, obviously, you get excited about any kind of a new hire and an influx of new life and a new vision and a new voice and a new methodology or process, if you will. And I think just especially with what this season has been and how frustrating it's been for us to watch, to take in. But also, you're talking about real opportunity here. Let's not forget that the spring game is not a huge draw at Florida State. It's not like it is at certain Southeastern Conference schools. And so you've got a chance now to parlay this into and I was at Jimbo Fisher's first ever spring game here, and it was a game-like atmosphere. I still remember Tom Block interviewed me. I was working for the other station, and Tom was working for the university at the time, and he was walking around the parking lot talking to people about the excitement, about what we all felt about the spring game for the first time in years. And it was funny. He walked over to me, and I talked with him for a little bit that day. We haven't had anything like that since. Not really. Situation in Orlando or whatever, but this will be an opportunity for the university certainly to now parlay this into I would say a moneymaker, but it certainly is. I mean, there's no other way around it.
Well, I mean, hype is money too. Because it gets people to travel, it gets people to buy merchandise, all that stuff. Season tickets, hello. But I can remember, a couple of spring games. One was Jimbo's first one, because remember, he's standing on the field behind the offensive formation. You're going, well, this is different. The head coach is out there on the football field dictating things as you go. And then there was the quarterback battle, obviously, in 2013, which was really interesting. And Jameis Winston throws his first pass to a walk-on over LaMarcus Joyner for a touchdown. That got people a little bit excited, too. But there's no doubt. I mean, even spring practice itself, I know media is going to be wondering about access level. But just when it comes to the looks and feels of what is a practice under Willie Taggart, how does that sound? All these things. I mean, the sights and sounds video from practice, that's a very minimal thing. But the first one he presides over, you don't think people are going to click on that?
Oh, yeah.
They're going to be thirsty for all of this. And if you like good news, well, you got some on the court last night, too. So it's not like, basketball is going to completely drop by the wayside. That's a huge win that the team had last night. But I mean, you've got the pick of the litter. Whatever sport you like and you're happy about and proud to watch, you're even more proud today than you were yesterday.
Really excited if Willie Taggart is able to make his way over to the TLC Double C. Willie, have yourself a good time, buddy. Go watch the undefeated Florida State Seminole basketball team at a place where they haven't lost in a long, long time. Just wins everywhere right now if you're a Knoll. Just constant wins, just everywhere.
The quick turnaround playing Loyola out of the MAAC, the MAC.
Yeah, well, it'll be fun, and I'll talk on that. But first, let's talk on this. The Noles go on the road and defeat the 5th-ranked Gators. It marks the 4th consecutive time in the rivalry that Florida State has walked away with a victory over Florida. That's the first time in the history of the rivalry that Florida State has beaten Florida 4 consecutive times in basketball. And to do it on their floor, ranked 5th as they were, it's a significant accomplishment and a lot of reasons to be excited, because this is a team that, we already told you, is an awful lot of fun to watch and invest in and cheer for, even with the loss of so many talented guys, some of which you thought spelled certain doom for a team that would miss out on their NBA talent. But it's a team that plays together with a lot of energy, committed on the defensive end. They play great tempo. It's a lot of fun to watch, and they have enough balance to give people problems. Now, to go in there and to play that way and to dominate that game as they did is a different level now of enthusiasm that you can kind of ratchet this up to. I don't know if that's indicative of where Florida State's at. I certainly don't think they're the equivalent of the 5th-ranked team. We're so early in the season. Who knows? Maybe Florida isn't either. But I do know that's a significant road win, and they played well. It wasn't flukish by any means. They dictated terms. You get a career high from Terrence Mann, 25 points, 23 rebounds, offensive rebounds for this Florida State basketball team. That'll help you overcome a stretch where you're ice-cold shooting. You get 16 more second-chance points than Florida did. You made your free throws. Played well on the defensive end, really extended the defense exceptionally well to get in the face of a lot of jump shooters for Florida. And early on, those shots, whether contested or not, didn't go down for Florida. You began to get a sense that they were a little uncomfortable. I think that's the best way to describe this game, that Florida State's intensity, defensive focus, and energy caused Florida to play with discomfort. And you couple that with the actual physical altering of shots, winning the 50-50 balls, all the cliches that you hear. Florida State did that, seemed to want it a lot more, and played with a different level of enthusiasm and energy from the jump.
Yeah, what's most booing about this game is you look at the way Florida State scored, and we scored a lot of putback opportunities, dunks, free throws, shot really well from the free throw line.
Because we didn't shoot well from the field, so you had to find it other ways.
Bingo, that's the key. Jump shooting, not a great night. But think about that. You didn't have a great night jump shooting, and you controlled this game down the stretch. I mean, Florida looked checked out with about 5-6 minutes to go. They didn't even care to box out down the stretch. They just knew that we were better than them at that facet of the game, and that was something to I was glad I stayed up late.
18-8 advantage in points in the paint when you go into halftime. And I looked at that immediately as, well, this is a great indication that we can carry this over into the second half, because that's a significant advantage on points in the paint. And then, you get the second chance points that we just referred to, and you have 16 total for the game, and the game's a 17-point game. So there you go. And, points off of turnovers. Florida State really more than doubles up Florida on points off of turnovers in that first. All these things that you began to realize, well, how are we at 14 of 42 from the field, 3 of 14 from beyond the arc, 11 for 30 field goals in general? How are we in the lead here? Well, it's all the second chance points. It's all the turnovers forced and points off of those turnovers. It's the points in the paint. It's all those things that add up. And also, again, when you're going to play that kind of tempo, you're going to give yourself more at-bats, as they say, more opportunities for putbacks.
Well, and even Florida's open looks, where they generated good looks, they missed their shots last night, and that's the thing. Duke can lose to a team that you go, well, how the hell did that happen?
Well, you live and die as a jump shooting team with whether or not you make baskets when you get open looks, and that shot, that's why you don't want to be that team, because there's going to be a night where that doesn't travel. And in this case, they were at home. There's going to be a night where you just don't knock down shots.
Yeah, exactly. And if we, bothered to hit 44, 45% of our shots, which you will on a good night, especially with all the fast-breaking, easy opportunities. Again, I mean, our number at 38 is boosted by all of the easy baskets we got. If we bother to hit, a fair share of jump shots, I mean, that's how scary we can be. I think we're vulnerable some nights to have a really rough go of it, but we can also be scary good because we didn't play great offensively last night. We just played good team basketball.
I'll tell you what's really impressive too, Tom, is that, okay, so Florida comes out. Obviously, the wake-up call had been given in that first half. And they are able to cut this lead to 48-44 with 17:30 left in the game. And you're thinking, well, here we go. Now they're going to ratchet up the intensity. They're going to adjust to what we were doing. They're going to realize they're involved in a game now and try to seize control of said game, etc. But Florida comes out in that second half, and short of that little spurt to start, they score a grand total of 11 points to start the first 10 minutes of the second half. That's how good Florida State's defense is. The intensity, you could sense, it's interesting, coming out of that locker room. So you get it back up after it's a 4-point game. You get it back up to 56-44. You could sense that Florida State, it was almost sort of a, oh, we're not having this. No, we are better than you tonight, and you know it, and
right.
We know it, and this ain't happening. And they ratcheted up the intensity once again to meet the little mini run.
Yeah, one thing that it reminded me of was the Rutgers game. The way the whistles were going in that second half, the pace of the game was not the way we wanted it to be. A large part was due to the whistles. But we said no. Every time Rutgers would push it close, we'd pull away further.
Wouldn't you suffice to say that the same thing is applicable here as it was there? The talking point to me after that game, because Rutgers is whatever, and you got the win despite some adversity as you're describing right now. But I texted you, and I'm going to continue to hold on to this because the thing I love about the team, they'll fight you.
Yeah.
They're going to fight you.
If you challenge them, they're going to give you everything right back.
Yeah,
everything
and you may
handle.
not work out some nights. It's a long season. You play a lot of good basketball teams, and sometimes you don't have an answer, but they're going to fight you.
Well, the thing I was worried about is you jump out to that big lead, you hit a couple of shots for your first 5 field goals, whatever it was, but a couple of threes. It's 10-1, and then Florida's fighting back. And, again, if the officials in the first half got really involved in the game and they kind of let it go the rest of the way. We did get a couple of breaks after the flagrant call.
Basketball, you're going to get that. I think they realized that flagrant call was as dumbass a call as you can make.
But Florida, for a stretch there, was playing really good defense. Like, we couldn't get into the paint if we tried. The driving lanes were not there. They were stifling, and so we were just back and forth along the perimeter, settling for threes. We were unable to hit threes. That's going to happen to us at times this year, and Florida's a good team. That's where I agree with you. They're a top 20 team, I think, at minimum this season. But I thought in that moment, oh, they got us out of our rhythm. Here we go. But to your point, we fight right back. A couple of turnovers, a couple of misses. We get out with our speed and transition and athleticism. The other thing is, we've played fast or tried to play fast in years past before the one and dones, and it looked like a circus.
We turned it over a lot.
Right. Yeah. You're talking about
we play competent tempo now. When we play fast, we're not out of control.
Yeah, we're down with numbers. I feel we're going to score.
Yeah.
I feel assured that we're going to score. Whereas in the old days, I'd say, man, we're going to throw this ball to the fifth row.
That's basketball skill, though. That's the recruiting, right, of a greater depth of basketball skill so you can invest in playing fast and not be reckless. You got guys who can finish around the basket. You got guys who, by the way, we're really good when you're in transition like that. How many beautiful oops do you see thrown? I mean, it's,
what about the Kofor one-hander?
Oh, man. Woo! Yes. Nasty. Real quick, Florida shot 36% from the field, 6 of 25 from beyond the arc. That's 24%. They also ended up 33 points below their season average. I dare say, on the season, I dare say that if anybody does that to us, and we certainly give them their due credit. We say, well, they dictated terms. They forced some bad shots. We just never felt comfortable. They altered a lot of looks. They challenged everything. So today, if you're a Florida fan, you probably say, well, we won't be that cold again from the field and, just didn't have a great night. And you're probably right. But I think you got to give the kids at Florida State an awful lot of credit. You hold a team 33 points below their average on the season. They have played Duke. They have played Gonzaga. And you beat them on their home floor, and they score, 0.89 points per possession, the worst of the season so far this year. 6 of 25 from beyond the arc, 24%. Man, that ain't just a bad shooting night. That's good defensive basketball and intensity from Florida State defensively, and they deserve a lot of credit for that. So congrats to them. Great early season win of significance, gives you a little bit of wiggle room. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Blountstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, only Mahindra, the world's #1 selling tractor, can give you the #1 year-end deal. Let us show you how to get tax savings on the toughest tractors on earth and get up to $7,400 in discounts along with Mahindra's 7-year warranty. Plus, get an Emax 22 with mid-mower for just $134 a month.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Wow, the E really does stand for easy, doesn't it?
It sure does. E Plus from the City of Tallahassee Utilities. Your own utilities.
The holiday challenge is on at JCPenney. Starting Thursday, come in and find thousands of great gifts for up to 60% off throughout the store. Like up to 60% off fine jewelry, plus an extra 40% off with your JCPenney credit card. Plus save on the brands you love, like 25% off Nike Team apparel. And stay on top of the latest trends with 50% off select Liz Claiborne apparel. Hurry, these deals won't last. JCPenney. Offers represent savings on regular original prices while supplies last. Credit offer subject to credit approval. Some exclusions apply. See store jcp.com for details.
At Whole Foods Market, we believe in real food. Food that's full of nutrients, naturally vivid and colorful, fresh and delicious. Food that connects you to your body, to the seasons, and to the natural world. We believe food should nourish you and help you think. It should help you feel calm, clear-headed, and strong. It should help you do more, sleep better, and wake up happier. That's food that lives up to its name. We believe in real food. Whole Foods Market.
Can't decide between fresh steak, seafood, or wings? Well, Miller's Ale House on Appalachia Parkway has it all. From center-cut sirloin and original pastas to fresh salads and favorites like Miller's Signature Zingers, tossed in your favorite sauce. Miller's Ale House has a full-service bar featuring more than 75 beers, plus wine and liquors. Bring the family to watch the big game inside or on their covered patio on one of over 60 HD TVs. However you come to relax, you will have a good time and great food at Miller's Ale House on Appalachia Parkway.
Out on the golf course, there are the obvious hazards. There's the pond, the bunker, the rough, the even rougher.
Yeah, put me down for an 8.
The giant maples, the row of houses out of bounds on the right, the angry flock of geese who've surrounded your ball, even the occasional groundskeeper you had no clue was there. But if you think you found every possible hazard out there, think again. The hazard you missed could actually be a killer. It's the spot on your skin, the one that could be skin cancer. Fact is, if you're a man over 50, you're in a group most likely to develop skin cancer, including melanoma, the kind that kills one person every hour. 1 in 5 Americans is likely to develop a form of skin cancer during their lifetime. That's why your best shot is to check for a spot. It's easy. Follow through and check your skin. It could be the save of a lifetime. Go to spotskincancer.org to find out how. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
It's time for some Straight Talk. You have their unlimited plan. So why do you keep running out of high-speed data? Never run out again with Straight Talk's new Ultimate Unlimited plan. Get all the 4G LTE data you want, all high speed, and all for just $55 a month on America's largest, most dependable 4G LTE networks, only from Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart.
Video typically streams at DVD quality. Please refer always to the latest terms and conditions of service at straighttalk.com.
It's Golic and Wingo. I know we talked about Carson Wentz as your midseason MVP, and Tom Brady's name certainly goes there for what he's doing. But if Russell Wilson doesn't put on a cape every single week, they're in trouble. And they're just a bad O-line. But Russell Wilson's ability to escape Mike and find and do things on the run has been ridiculous.
Golic and Wingo, weekday mornings from 7 to 10 on 97.9 ESPN Radio. This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Willie Taggart, head coach, Florida State. Tomorrow, 11 a.m. press conference. Yahoo! That's different than yeehaw. Tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. All right, I'm ready. Can we just skip to that? Can we get to tomorrow morning at 11 a.m.? We may have to move headlines again. We skipped it today because we knew something was forthcoming. Thought there was something coming down the line, and so we held off. And then now I don't think we can do it tomorrow because this press conference is at 11, and they're going to have to write. And I'll have to come in here and prep, and you'll have to put together audio from that press conference, and we'll have a show to prepare for. So I'm thinking that the headlines gets moved to Thursday, which is fine. The week is all jumbled up and crazy as it is. That's all right. Just may mean that, sometime next week, Tom and I take a random day off. That's all. That's all that could mean.
Well, I have budget meetings next week, so, that is true.
That is true. Indeed. Exciting times when budget meetings come calling.
Oh, yeah.
I know how pumped you get.
Well, especially when they're written for you.
Woohoo! I'm looking at, do you know who has the most Maxwell Award winners? Because Saquon Barkley is a Maxwell Award finalist. And I'm looking at these. The awards are all set, by the way. They take place Thursday, 7 o'clock, ESPN. If you're into those sorts of things.
Okay.
The awards, that is. And, they get Maxwell and the Davey O'Brien and the Bednarik and the Outland and the Blitnikoff. I'm just looking. I'm looking at the candidates there. Saquon Barkley, Bryce Love, Baker Mayfield. And here's the deal. If you look back at the last 5 instances in which somebody won the Maxwell Award and Davey O'Brien Award in the same season, they won the Heisman, save for Vince Young and Colt McCoy. But that's exciting. Baker Mayfield.
Well, yeah, and then there was also the 2013 year where I believe it was A.J. McCarron won the Maxwell Award.
Well, it's just something to behold there.
His mom was happy because she could understand
she was very
the acceptance
worried about
speech
the dialect
because that's all she cared about.
Mm-hmm. That was a strange. That was She told on herself.
Yeah, like you
so very clearly.
You really want to hit send there, huh? You want the world to know?
She was probably drinking. So here we go. I look at this. Penn State's had the most, 7. Notre Dame's also had 7. Navy's had 4, so it speaks to a different time, Tom.
Well, Navy's going to have 2 losses in a row to Army. That's what they're going to have.
How about that? Celebration. It's weird. I'm trying to find, when I go back and I look at the award ceremonies or the candidates anyhow, I always try to think, well, how many of these guys have I watched play closely? So like the Jim Thorpe Award is for the best defensive back in football. Well, we've seen Minkah Fitzpatrick. We know about him. But you know Deshaun Elliott. You've watched plenty of Texas, right? Deshaun Elliott, good player.
Yes.
But who the hell has watched Josh Jackson? You know where he is?
Virginia Tech.
Iowa. He's at Iowa. Well, Matt Britton has watched him. But other than that, my other listeners are like, who? What? I don't know him. He can't be any good. I haven't seen him. Oh, just an aside. I can't, the problem is I'm wrestling with getting us to the finish line while talking more about Willie Taggart, other than to say it's a great hire. I'm really excited to hear from him tomorrow at 11. I think we all are. And we're pumped about it, but man, there's nowhere else to go with it.
Well, there is potentially a place to go with it. What about this? What are the things that you want to hear Willie Taggart say at his opening press conference? Because I think he needs to work in a one-liner about, I don't know why anybody would want to leave here. I think that would actually really ingratiate him to the fan base even more right out the gate. So I recommend that makes the final cut either in the prepared statement or, I don't know, he can govern a question in order to work that into the answer.
Yeah, I think probably it would be fun for all of us who would revel in such a comment. I don't know if he's going to do that or not. It's certainly not necessary. But I think he's going to be very excited, and that will be infectious. If I'm just projecting and predicting here, and it's an educated guess given the fact the man's from the state of Florida, and I've talked to enough people that know this about him. His goal was to be able to come back and coach at one of the big 3 in the state at some point, and in particular has always loved Florida State, would have loved to have the opportunity, but could not have foreseen at 41, not too many years removed from coaching Western Kentucky, that this would even be a possibility. And certainly you can think now that you leave South Florida for Oregon. Now, why would you do that? Well, you do that because you're already, somebody would say, well, he was already in the state of Florida having great success. Yeah, but South Florida isn't going to go to the playoffs, isn't going to get that opportunity. We just watched what happened to UCF. So you want to go to a Power 5 conference. You want to go coach a team that has a chance that if you succeed and complete your vision, that you're rewarded for it by going to the playoffs and a chance to win a national title. So he rightfully took this job at Oregon where he knew that from a facilities standpoint and investment, they had plenty of money, plenty of want to at the very least. Now, they were hamstrung to some degree by the location. And by the way, if you're listening to this from Oregon, I love the Pacific Northwest. It ain't me talking about your location, but in terms of where recruits live and trying to get kids out of Texas and Florida and Georgia and places like that, it can be hard to convince them to travel to the Pacific Northwest. So he takes that job, says, I think I can overcome that. Let's go have some success. And Oregon's not necessarily a stepping stone job, but it is a job for a guy who wants to get back to the Southeast, where if you go and succeed and something opens up down the line, you might have a real good chance of parlaying that job, that success, to a job back in the state or a big-time job in the SEC or something like that. He could have never guessed that at the time he said yes to Oregon, this thing would implode for Jimbo Fisher in Tallahassee. There were no real obvious signs to people on the outside that there was this kind of discord behind the scenes with Jimbo Fisher and administration and boosters. We knew that there was some, but not that it was on the precipice of falling to complete pieces.
No, there was no critical mass. We're playing Alabama on Labor Day weekend.
That's right.
We win that football game. We're, cementing where we are, and there's tolerance going on over there at that point. And that's what it was for the last few years. That nobody's speaking out of school when they say that.
No, and listen, there was enough discussion, murmuring, if you will, behind the scenes. Those of us, and I would even occasionally hint at it on the air, much to the chagrin of certain Jimbo sycophants. But I would say, look, man, we lose a game every year. We ought not lose. That is growing a little frustrating. And one of the things that I suggested was, hey, I get it. Sometimes we're too myopic. And maybe I just see that and I think, well, damn it, man, another one of those kind of, lost to Georgia Tech, did you? Moments, right, where we get angry about that. And I would try to take a step back when that happened, but enough people were growing a little bit frustrated with that, also with the nature of how close everything was. And then when you began to hear that, the comments Jimbo was making this year, you kind of began to understand, like, ooh, this maybe this isn't the healthiest of relationships. But the point would be, that's from those of us that cover the team on a daily basis. Nobody on the outside really had any idea or clear understanding that this was on the verge of imploding. So the point would be, he takes the job out in Oregon. And obviously he's committed to try and help Oregon. They were 4-8 a year ago. He gets them to 7-5 and has them playing good football. And he's committing and he's recruiting exceptionally well. And then this happens. What a moment. What a stunning turn of events for a Willie Taggart. To have this opportunity after just 1 year at Oregon. I want to say, and I believe, just based on the reports of who the man is and the way he conducts business, there's a part of him that, while understanding of this is an opportunity of a lifetime and what a privilege and an honor and what a great moment for me and my career, et cetera, and my family and people that have worked so hard with me, he probably feels a little bit bad about what he had to do today, because he had to convince kids to commit to him and to commit to his vision at Oregon. And 1 year later, he's saying, I got to go, guys. It's a chance I can't turn down. I got to go. I bet he feels pretty bad about it.
Well,
and I'm not trying to shame him. I get it. It's the nature of the beast, but
no, if you're a human being, you do.
Yeah.
And right now, I think that's the period of maybe the flight you take to kind of gather your emotions, but there needs to be a catharsis.
A whirlwind of emotions today, because when you have team meetings, you have to look them in the eyes, and who knows, there's tears,
There were last week when he mentioned that it's a dream job. That's the reports out of Oregon when he said when he was trying to be honest with the team that, hey, listen, I haven't been formally offered, but, it is a dream job of mine. Apparently, there were tears shed in that moment.
That's tough, man. That's tough. I'm not saying I'm going to lose sleep over it, because Willie Taggart's a very wealthy man at this moment, and those kids have to decide now what they're going to do, either stay at Oregon or transfer or whatever it might be. Willie would love to have you here in Tallahassee, is all I'll say. But, if you're a good player.
It's a hell of a thing.
If you're a good player, that is. But that said, I think that's got to be very difficult for him. So, yes, there will be sort of a coming to grips with all of that, and then at some point, obviously, you put your foot on the ground in Tallahassee and say, "Here we go." It's a business, and I got to make the best of this opportunity and kick ass and take names.
Well, it'll help that every face he's going to see in Tallahassee today will be smiling. That'll help lift your spirits and underscore why you made the move that you made, and the fact that you could drive home if you wanted to your hometown and see family and friends that you grew up with.
Indeed.
But he doesn't have to. I'm sure he'll have a jet.
Second guessing that he might have. He no longer has to do that. We could do a What's on Tap for tonight. I'd be happy to talk about that.
Ready for a cold one? Proof Brewing Company in Railroad Square Art Park presents What's on Tap. So, Jeff, what'll it be?
I haven't had anything to drink in a few days. I've been trying to keep it on the up and up, Tom, and do the right thing and get myself together. The end of the heavy season is it's winding down now, and it's good to get right. So I think tonight it'll be a little hockey with Tampa Bay and the Islanders. I'll be watching that. But I will partake in a beautiful porter that I have at the house as I watch said hockey matchups.
Nice. Yeah,
that's what's on tap for me, buddy.
this weekend could be a great thing on tap for all of us. As the cold front's rolling in over the next day or two.
Yes.
This is the time, man, to sit outside, enjoy the snap in the air, right? In
Well, you have
Tallahassee.
to because it'll be 82 next week at some point. So, yeah.
Maybe it will be. But that's why we embrace this upcoming moment, and you could do so at Railroad Square Art Park with our friends at Proof Brewing Company and their beer garden.
Oh, what an outdoor beer garden they have where I'll walk in and grab that sour. They have two. They're both delicious. I'll drink them. I would. They are tasty. I'll sit across from you and discuss our good fortune of entering into the Willie Taggart era, one filled with championships. What a good time that'll be. Or I'll just swing by Publix and grab the canned deliciousness from Proof.
That's true. You could.
I could do that, too.
You could swing by.
I could.
Award-winning canned deliciousness.
I might do that. I'm not going to lie. There's Proof in my fridge right now.
Over, under, right now, according to the Rivals rankings, right, we're number 40 in the country for a recruiting class. Over, under 9.5 in the team rankings by the end of the season. Perhaps I'm setting the bar too high.
Well, if I'm under, am I at 8?
If it's
if
under,
I'm over, am I at 8? I mean, how's it work? Because I know the lower the number, the better the class.
So what we'll do is we'll say the over is better because that's over expectations. It's over this barometer line that I'm setting right now. Under being 10 or worse in the recruiting rankings. Over being 9 or better in the recruiting rankings.
Today's the 5th.
5th.
Well played.
It was flat, though.
Oh, you're tired. It's the 5th. I gave you another chance.
5th.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't realize that's what that was.
You could also just grab Dave. You've probably got him in there saying 5th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could do that. But that said, he's got 15 days before the early recruiting period begins, and then that's 72 hours for the 20th to the 22nd.
Correct.
It's just a hunch, Tom. I think he finishes with the number 1 class in the country.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, that's just a hunch,
What a hire.
Just a hunch. It's feels like that's the kind of miracle worker he is. Just a hunch. I feel that down deep in my heart.
Yeah, but the problem, if he does attend said booster event tonight, somebody will say that with a straight face. Now, I know that you're going to be, by February.
A busy man.
Yes.
No, I don't think he'll finish with the number 1 class for those that are literalist. I do think he'll finish with the top 15 class,
okay.
And I'm really wrestling where that is. I feel like 8's the right number, Tom. Maybe even 7.
There could be a cornerstone recruit that might make this thing very easy for everybody.
It could turn just like that. Oh. If he rolls up on a certain quarterback who is committed to Georgia, that's him rounding the corner in Mr. Fields' neighborhood.
Song don't care who sings it.
That's true. Willie pulls up. Lemon. There it is. Let's make it happen. He's got the boombox old school, like it's Say Anything. I'm in. Make it happen. Good work, sir. We handled this situation today much like Florida State handled Florida on their home court. Dominating fashion.
Which was an ice rink for most of the night. People falling left and right.
Freaking chew. Good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. To those that called and or listened, I surely do appreciate it. For those that missed it, all 3 hours to be posted both on iTunes and in our own audio vault here in mere moments. Be well. Have a great night. Let it sink in. Florida State's got a new head football coach. His name is Willie Taggart. We'll hear from him tomorrow morning at 11 a.m.